Good evening and welcome to our latest episode of Warrington Wolves Rewired. Today we're going actually back 20 years to 2000, where we saw a thrilling comeback against the Bradford Bulls at Wilderspool. It was actually trailing 30 points to 12 at one stage. To help me dissect this game, two former international players that played in this thrilling comeback. Welcome to Hunte and Jérôme Guisset. Welcome, guys. How are we doing?
Hiya, Fitzy.
Yeah, Fitzy. Good, mate. Thank you very much.
Good.
Super. Al, do you want to kick us off? What are you doing yourselves these days?
A lot like the rest of the nation, working from home. I'm a PE teacher at an SEN school in Bolton, Lever Park. So they went back this week, but under very different circumstances. And I've got a nearly 6 next week, stepdaughter. So I'm primary caregiver, so I'm staying at home at the moment. No plans for me to be back in work. I'm just working from home. When I finish this, I'm going to go out and meet one of the teachers, drop off some marking, because it's not just PE that I have to deliver. We did a CV course or mark that for the Year 11s because strange times they didn't get to complete the course, etc. So we've got to give them what we think the grades were going to be, etc. So, but yeah, like the rest of the nation, just making the best of what's been not the best situation, but very different times. And you've got loads of background. You've got at some stage. You'll probably see my dog jumping up on me. He's fast asleep. When he does, he's up here. He's a 13-month-old Great Dane, so he's a bit of a screen stealer.
Don't worry about that authenticity. That's what we're all about. It's pretty cool. Jérôme, what are you doing to keep busy?
Mate, very similar to what Hunte just alluded to. Adapting as much as we can to the current situation and what's being thrown at us. Fortunately, I work for a digital company, so working from home is not something that has challenged me so much because I can do most of my work behind my screen. But obviously, like Hunte's just talked about, I think that trying to adapt to the situation, making sure that you look after your kids while still working, taking time with your family while they're running around behind the screen, which you might hear some screams on stage because I've got two very vocal girls also, so they like a little bit of sound to this one. But no, yeah, keeping good. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm missing enormously rugby in general. Sport in general and rugby in particular. I would say that's the biggest drawback for me at the moment. But apart from that, keeping fit and healthy, and good to remind me that I am 20 years older than in 2020. Than in 2000, sorry.
Brilliant. Alan, let's start with yourself. You joined the club in '99 after being released from Hull with 12 months left of your contract. How did that come about?
It was skint. I went as a pretty big signing, fee-wise, etc. At the end of '97 to Hull, and 2-year deal. But and was really enthusiastic once the decision had been made to go there. They hadn't been introduced into Super League, which to this day still baffles me when you look at the Hull area and what it's always been to rugby. To not have a Super League team in Hull for the first couple of years of Super League astounded me. So it was exciting times in that respect. And the owner, David Lloyd, had big plans, but I'm not sure that he'd done all the research that he should have, because a lot of things started to fall through with regards to building new grounds, etc. Because he owned the football team as well.
David Lloyd that owns the gyms.
Yes, David Lloyd that owns the gyms, etc. That we used to use when we was at Warrington. Very successful businessman that just set off on a not his best venture in sport when it came to the football and rugby, because it was the football and rugby. They had Mark Hateley, former England international footballer, as the manager at Hull, and they were championing me as the big signing. And it was a pretty successful season. I mean, we finished 9th in a league of 12 and it's a newly promoted team, you take that, you know, in hindsight. And I think even the Hull fans would take it. But at the time, it was Hull and they were very expectant of their team. We went through a period where, you know, we lost quite a few games, but didn't have a bad end to the season. But in the background, David Lloyd was pulling out and there was problems with players getting paid, etc. Shenanigans with the chief exec and a couple of agents trying to get rid of players during the season, unbeknown to said players. I can say that because I was one of those players. And it was just a lot easier at the end of the season. They actually came out and said, look, we're having real problems. If we can, you can go for nothing, which made it a lot easier. And in the middle of the season, I'd had Bradford calling me up, and I was on the phone saying, well, I don't know where this has come from. You know, I'm happy. I've signed a 2-year deal and I want to make it work. Because I'd like to think I'm an honourable kind of guy that once I sign a contract, you want to see it through rough times and good times. If I'd have known what was going on behind the scenes, maybe I'd have been a Bradford player. Who knows? But once it was out on the table, they said, look, you're the highest paid player, so we're going to make the cuts where we can. And it makes sense for you to go first. So once I knew that, a couple of other clubs had started being interested, Darrell van der Velde being one of them at Warrington. I'd already fired my agent off because of what was going on, because he was going behind my back. So I did the negotiations myself, spoke face-to-face with Darrell, and it was pretty much done and dusted in one meeting, in a day. I'd come across Darrell, obviously, through the years as a coach, but I'd had talks with him 10 years earlier, just before I signed for Saints, when he was coach at Castleford. And he didn't quite scare me as much as he did then, as an 18-year-old lad. And it was exciting. And Warrington had finished below Hull, so it wasn't, the high-flying Warrington Wolves going to a really successful club. It was going to be a bit of a graft. It was going to be hard. We wanted to get them back to where they'd been a couple of years earlier. They were pretty competitive at the start of Super League. And Darrell wanted me to be part of those plans, so I was more than happy to do so and moved back in that off-season and played for 3 wonderful years. I really enjoyed my time at Warrington.
Alan, before you joined Warrington, am I right in thinking that you came close to going to rugby union, a deal that involved the RFU financing part of that deal?
Yeah. As I said, once things were out on the table, another agent who had represented me but wasn't at the time, but his integrity was far greater, and it was a good deal for him. So even though I wasn't on his books because I was representing myself, he was able to speak to me, and he'd set up a meeting in Altrincham. I was in a room with Clive Woodward. He wasn't Sir then, though he hadn't won a World Cup, and Bill Beaumont, the agent, myself, and 2 other players. And I don't think
the 2 other players.
Yeah,
come on.
They stayed faithful to their club, so I'm not remiss in saying Gary Conley and Chris Radlinski. And Clive had this dream of getting some rugby league backs, because the transition's obviously a little bit easier, into rugby union, with a view to a real punt at the '99 World Cup, which might have been a little bit too quick, but that's with 2020, hindsight. But we were sat there, and everything that was going on at Hull, I was really up for it. It was a fantastic deal, but the clubs were a bit sceptical, the union clubs, because obviously they were going to pay some of the wages, but the RFU were going to pay some of our wages as well, and it was going to be the start of that central contract, so to speak. And so I went looking at houses in Northampton, because Northampton looked like it was going to be the club, but they wanted a winger and a centre. And although I could play both, I couldn't play them both at the same time. So Gary Conley was integral to the deal. Gary stayed at Wigan.
Oh, right, it was a package deal for both of you, right?
Well, that's what Northampton came up with. Other clubs were very sceptical, and there weren't too many really wanted to take individuals on. Northampton were a little bit more open to that, but they wanted the package deal of a winger and a centre. Chris Radlinski could play centre, obviously, and had done internationally, but was a wonderful fullback. And, you know, that's what they were trying to sell him as with regards to rugby union as well. And I'm not sure if Bath were interested in Chris, but I could be wrong. I think there might have been another club interested in Gary individually, but Northampton wanted the package. And I went down there, was in estate agents, hoping that the deal went through. It didn't. The Warrington thing happened. And, you know, it is what it is. As I said, 3 fantastic years at Warrington. Didn't want to leave there, but I was a pretty old geezer by the time it did happen, as you can testify, because you've got the next 2 years fit as a player. And I signed at Warrington, you know, and was happy to. You know, I wanted to play rugby. I felt pretty fit and healthy. I was only 28. You know, my birthday is always in the middle of the summer, in the middle of the season. So I started that 99 season as a 28-year-old, and wanting to get back into the international team.
Super. Jérôme, you joined the club in 2000 after making 4 appearances for Canberra as moving from Canberra to Warrington. Firstly, how did you find yourself at Canberra? Was you playing in the French domestic league? And do you mean how did the move come about going on to Australia?
So basically, my story is nowhere near what Hunte alluded to just then. I come from a much humbler background in the south of France, where at the time in the mid-90s, rugby league was seen possibly as I would say a lesser game. The domestic league was not televised. It was a very much semi-professional league where you train twice a week. You turn up at the game of the weekend. You have fun with your mates. At the end of the game, as you can imagine, the French hospitality makes you take that very, I would say, that very amateur approach towards the game. But one of the things that really draw you in the first place towards the game. But as a young kid, possibly, I think it was in 1993 or 1994, I did a tour with my local club, Saint Estève at the time, and we toured England at Easter. Stayed in Bradford for a week, and I've just got that image in my head of being amazed by the English culture and the game in England, what the crowd was like, the way the game was played, which was nowhere near what I was used to see and used to compete in. And at the time, I think it was only under 16 or under 14s. I can't remember exactly. But out of the back of my mind something saying to me, this is what I want to do. I want to become a professional rugby league player, something that obviously you couldn't do in France. Rugby as a whole wasn't professional. It only turned professional in 96. And the amateur option that you had in France was extremely amateur. So I knew that I had to take a step and trial something that possibly like not many people did and possibly no one did in Australia. So that opportunity came about. I think it was in '96. I think Hunte actually played in the World Nines, the Super League World Nines in Fiji.
No, so it wasn't me.
Wasn't you? It was too old then already.
Yeah.
So toured there with the French team. I was only 17 at the time. So played against Great Britain, played against like a few other nations and so forth. And one of the Canberra Raiders scout was there. He was just looking around and talking to obviously different players and having a look out. Ended up like having a good discussion with him, and he said to me that he'd like to see me like come over, have a trial, see how it went. That was 1996 at the time, so very early stage of Super League. And as you all know, obviously Super League went all out at that stage, trying to grow the game. So I decided to come over to Canberra. It was bang on in the middle of the start of Paris Saint-Germain at the time as well. So I had 2 options: either going to Paris, where I would have been guaranteed Super League debut there, playing obviously for the French team, or go and experience something completely new. And I kind of decided to get myself outside of my comfort zone. I really wanted to go somewhere English. I was going to say English, but somewhere Anglo-Saxon. And I thought that obviously Australia was the best place to go. So I went there initially for 3 months. After 3 months, they wanted to sign me up on the reserve grade deal. But I had a good conversation with mum and dad, which always supported me, but always wanted me to have some kind of an academic pathway, which I was doing at the time. I was preparing for a sport degree. In hindsight, possibly not the right decision to do, but that's 25 years on. So I decided to come home, started that degree. But then after a year, Canberra got back to me because I was keeping in close contact with them. I was sending them, at the time, it was like video recordings of me playing for my home club and playing for France at the time. And they were still interested. So they offered me a 2-year deal, which I put pen to paper straight away. And I joined them in back end of 98 and thoroughly enjoyed my time there. Spent a great 18 months there, which was supposed to be 2 years. I didn't think, in all honesty, I went there thinking that I wanted to make a mark and thinking that I wanted to play first grade and I wanted to be the first Frenchman to play NRL. I didn't think that was going to come so quickly, which I made my debut after 6 months. It was tough because I couldn't speak a word of English. So you can see that I've improved a little bit now. But the overall experience was fantastic, and the level of professionalism was out of this world. I'm talking about, you're talking 1998, so 22 years ago. But already the one-to-one player analysis was spot on. The way that
who was the coach at the time, Jérôme?
So at the time, Mal was head coach, Mal Meninga. Assistant coach was Gary Granke. I don't know whether you remember him, played for the Raiders back in the day. Michael Maguire was part of the setup, but he was below that. And my head coach as reserve grade was Michael Hagan, who went on to be head coach. Obviously, he's within the Queensland side now. So there were some big names. And to be honest with you, one of the big memories that I've got there, I remember landing there. I just played for France and I tore a hamstring. So when I landed there, I landed injured, and I thought, God, I can't turn up a professional within a professional organisation and say I'm injured. So I tried to tough it out. But the first thing that I had was a medical, which I was astonished with. I thought, why are you doing medical on me? And they find out that. So I couldn't lie, pretty much. So my first session ended up being a pool session with the physio. And the only other player that was in the pool session was Laurie Daly. So I ended up having my first session with pretty much my childhood hero. So that was amazing. Obviously, as you can imagine, like I was only 20 at the time and 19. I can't remember exactly, but just great memories. So I ended up staying there for 18 months. Making my debut, being part of the 25-man squad, extended squad for the following season. But in the off-season, went back to France just to do my international duties. At the time, there was a couple of international against England that were programmed. And one of the games was in Hull, where we had a good showing. I had a pretty good game. And at the end of the game, I got approached by the late Peter Deacon, who was at the time, obviously, CEO of the Wolves. Spoke decent French. So straight away, there was a little bit of a connection there. He kind of like sold me, I would say in inverted commas, a dream, similar to what Hunte alluded to, and spoke to me about, obviously, the addition of Alan Langer, Andrew G, Toa Nikau, plus obviously the existing members of the team, Hunte, obviously, Breezy, Spud McCorry, John Roper, guys that have played in national, and he kind of sold me the vision of the club and where they wanted to be. And to be honest with you, at that time, I was craving playing first grade. And I thought that I possibly would have had a better opportunity to play Super League on a week-to-week basis than playing NRL on a week-to-week basis. Again, in hindsight, was it the right decision? Only God knows. I could have gone on to the NRL and probably played on a week-to-week basis, but I took the decision to come to England, which I never regret, to be honest with you. And I don't regret coming to Warrington, because the club as a whole is the philosophy and the foundation of Warrington as a club has always been the same, and a very authentic club, very close to the community, very close to its player. And that's something that really attracted me towards the organisation. And that's something that I think that you guys have endured through the time, and really possibly even strengthen that towards the community. And that's something that I'm really passionate about. The only thing that shocked me, I'm not going to lie, when I arrived in England was I felt like I was going back in time after the 18 months that I spent in Australia. The degree of professionalism to me was a step back at the time. I mean, the facilities that we had where we used to train, I don't know if Hunte remember, we used to train at Snookers next or Beeman, yeah. We used to train, we had the gym at Snookers above the glass stand at Wilderspool. I don't know if you remember that, Fitzy. Mate, it was in a state of decay. But the will of the players and the staff and the organisation were always to build on this. Whether the organisation had sufficient fund to fund the overall thing was different. I think that we had the right caliber of players, but we didn't have the right caliber of things that go around to make these players shine, if that makes sense. So yeah, arrived there, 2000. Left Canberra on a 37-degree day and landed in Warrington on a -7. So it was a bit of a shock. Pre-season in mud with Darryl at the helm, but yeah, just that's how it came about, and that's how the opportunity started, pretty much.
Fascinating. Alan, Jérôme mentioned 3 players there: Alan Langer, Andrew G, and Swearnicko. They joined the club ahead of the 2000 season. Massive names within the sport. Could you feel a change? Did expectations rise when them 3 arrived?
Yeah, without doubt. I remember the last game of the season, 99, and somebody said, "They're in for Alan Langer." I just laughed. I went, "Yeah, all right." 3 weeks later, he was here, because remember, we went to watch the under-19s team in the final against Leeds. 2 great teams. Yeah. I mean, produced a lot of Super League players: Shed Walker, Danny Maguires, Rob Burrows for Leeds, Ian Sibberts, Stenhouses, etc.
I remember it. John Duffy.
Yeah. Wonderful young Warrington team. And I remember me and Jason Roach, who was leaving the club but officially was still a Warrington player, both living in St Helens, and it was St Helens versus Castleford in the playoffs, and the final was the under-19s final was a curtain raiser for that. So we went to that, and Alfie, Darryl, were at the game, and obviously I'd played against Alfie a few times. He's just a lovable character, you can't help but get on with him, but suddenly there was an air of excitement, and you went into the break knowing you were going to get 4 weeks off, and I started training, went back to Jack Penman's gym, which is in his house in Wigan. A lot of Wiganers will know of that guy, but he'd been involved at Saints. Took Steve McCurry because he had a tendency to maybe get a little bit lazy in the off-season. And we started about 3 weeks before Warrington. And there was just that air of, this could be a really great season. And that was just Andrew G and Alfie. Suddenly then they're adding Tuera on top of that. And Tuera's last game that everybody saw before he signed for Warrington was a man-of-the-match performance in the grand final for the Melbourne Storm, where he was absolutely sensational. Again, kind of knew Tuera from playing against him in his time at Castleford, and you just thought, wow, this could be an absolute legend of a season. And I think Jez is potentially right that with the likes of Toa, who'd been the top try scorer in '99, and those new players, and hopefully people like myself and Brazy can have a better season. We can have a real punt, and it didn't transpire. When you look at some of those other teams like Bradford, St Helens and Wigan, I think some of the things around them in the background probably were just a little bit more professional. I also think just putting a new team together, it doesn't just happen. And, you know, I don't think there was anybody that we couldn't beat. And over that 2-year period, there wasn't anybody that we didn't beat and beat convincingly. But it was just a consistency thing. And off the field as well, it was a little bit inconsistent. And it was just like the final piece of the jigsaw just didn't quite click, because there's certainly some talent in that team. And these were established stars. When we also look at Jez, who came and just such a tough competitor, and he grew into a world-class prop. He came as a back rower. He wasn't the biggest guy, but such a hard worker, hard as granite as well, you know. And the likes of him and Ian Norton, and who became better players and went on to have, you know, better careers and stellar careers for Jez, success at Wigan, etc., and internationally. It's just unfortunate it wasn't quite our time, but it kind of falls into that Warrington. It's going to be our year. That's, I think, where it started, because of the expectations in signing such wonderful players.
Jérôme, so we've brought in 3 massive signings alongside yourself, led by Darryl van der Velde as head coach. What was Darryl like to play under?
Darryl was. I did a bit of research. I did a bit of research on Darryl prior to me joining. Like I said to you, I originally got approached by Pete Deacon, but then obviously Darryl called me and started talking and going through the. Hunte talked about it. Obviously, coach at Cass, so he had a coaching pedigree. But also through my contacts in Australia, I found out that obviously he had also like a lot of experience behind the scene of an organisation, and he had like quite a big role at the Crushers, South Queensland's Crushers, where he was not 100% sure whether he was CEO, but he had a big role there, and everything that I got from Darryl was he was a very shrewd businessman, and I think that this transpired in the way that he coached, in the way that he coached was more towards the end goal as opposed to the process itself. If you understand what I mean, and I think that he had a big impact in the way that I played and in my career. And I mean Hunty will have to back me up here, but some of the video session was absolutely fantastic. I mean, like this will stay with me my whole entire life, because he was like literally a one-man show. And he was great. And also, you've got to take this with a pinch of salt, because we're talking like 20 years ago, things had completely changed. We didn't have any like full-on computer analysis system to enable us to really pick on the little details. So it's all about that kind of like blanket approach where you talk about a lot of things, but then when you come out of it, I'm not too sure whether everyone has got any idea of the little details. Obviously, I've got a little bit of experience in coaching and things that evolved and stuff. But that's what it was. I think that the way that he wanted to coach was very much through the front door and going through a brick wall. It was like you had to be tough to get into that team. And I remember my first year, I played the whole year with a broken hand and a broken sternum, and I was scared of saying it. I remember Hunte turning up with his knee blown up, but he was scared of saying it. And because we knew that Darryl was like this, and Hunte talked about the off-field. I'm not going to say drama, but again, 20 years ago, it was a totally different game. It was a totally different sport and way of life. And we did enjoy our time. And I think that's part of footy as well. And Darryl knew that he could let us do that as long as we stayed tough and true to his word. Were we the most skillful side? I like to argue that we weren't. I don't think that we were skillful as a unit. But I think that we had some extremely skillful players within that group. I mean, Alfie Langer. You saw some stuff in game, but you turn up at training and some of the stuff that he did was ridiculous. Like stuff that same as Breezy. Breezy was a magician. And then when you couple this with the likes of Hunte, Tor, that I completely forgot to name. Like Tor was unreal. We had some really, really good skills in there. But what I think lacked was because of the break through the wall mentality and philosophy of Darryl, I think that we missed a lot of the talent that we had on board. And I think that that's possibly what we lacked to gel the whole overall team. But also I think that possibly with the talent that we had, we probably didn't have enough time to let that talent grow and really express ourselves. Warrington and it stays the same in any organisation. You want results straight away. Unfortunately, when you bring in a lot of players and I'm talking about big individually, guys like Alfie, guys like Gigi, guys like T. You got to let them settle into a team, and you got to let them flourish. And when they are big individuals, you need to give them even more time. So that was it. I think I really enjoy my time with Darryl. Really, really enjoy my time, and I think that as a front row, I think he's a perfect coach to have because I think that he brought in even more the tougher side to myself as a young kid, and I think to a lot of players. The only thing is that if you didn't adhere to that toughness, I think you were in for a world of pain, and you couldn't make it if that makes sense, really.
I also think that toughness that he had was counterbalanced with a togetherness. The one thing that he did strongly believe in was family.
Yeah.
And family comes first. And you take things from every coach that you play under. Some positives, some negatives that you maybe don't ever want to see in your army if you're going to coach. And the one thing I definitely did repeat that Darryl used to say was, "There's only one 2000, or there's only one 2001. This is it. This group of lads, this group of staff, we only have to change one person in the group, and the dynamics have changed for the next year. So make the most of it. Be together. So if you go for a drink, be together. Everybody go. You don't have to have a beer, but everybody goes. If we're going to go out on a function, let's go out and take the wives and the kids and whoever it be. Let's extend, because there's no stronger bond than those 17 guys that walk out on, for the want of a better cliche, the battlefield, because it is tough. It really is. And obviously in rugby, there's nobody that isn't a tough player, but there are some that are softer than others, so to speak. And Darryl wanted a group of strong physical and mental players. And for his drivenness and what he wanted on the field, he was very good off the field in that. And I think that's why some of the bonds and friendships that we had at Warrington will be unbreakable. You know, you cannot see somebody for years and years and years, and you're instantly sent back to a time in a place where we had a lot of fun. Because as tough as it was great being around that group of people, which wasn't just players, it was players and staff, admin, even going into the office, and you'll know Fitzy, Sheila in the office, and it kind of brought everybody together, you know, which was a nice feeling.
Right. Guys, I just want to touch on the opposition for the moment. Bradford Bulls, as I mentioned earlier, became a dominant force within Super League. This year, they actually won the Challenge Cup, beating ourselves in the semi-final. I'm just going to read out the 17 that we faced that day at Wilderspool. So the fullback, Stuart Spruce, Nathan McAvoy, Scott Naylor, Leon Price, Justin Brooker, Henry Paul, Robbie Paul complete the backs. The front row of Brian McDermott, James Laws, Paul Anderson. The back row of Mike Forshaw, David Boyle, Brad Mackay. And on the bench, Hudson Smith, Paul Deacon, Jamie Peacock and Stuart Fielding. So first of all to yourself, Alan, what do you recall about this Bradford team?
They were getting better. I was fortunate enough that 3 years earlier I'd been at St Helens and we had the wood on them. You know, we won the league in '96. We beat them in the Challenge Cup final. The following year we beat them in the Challenge Cup final again, but they won the league and they were a great team. And then they went out and bought and they brought in some real quality, as you said, Nathan McAvoy and Scott Naylor from Salford. Young Deacon was coming through. Henry Paul left Wigan and went to Bradford, and he was potentially the best halfback in the competition at the time. I mean, he could destroy you with his feet, his strength, and his ball game. Wonderful player, and they just looked like they were indestructible. In 2000, we'd had a pretty good day at Salford in the quarterfinals, got Warrington to the semis. First time that Warrington had been in the semi-final for a decade. So, you know, we were pretty pleased at Headingley. Got off to a great start in the first half and were really taking it to them, but they came like a steamroller in the second half and really just took it away from us. They'd blown us away in the league earlier in the season as well. And you just thought, there's nobody going to stop these guys. And they were unbeaten. Nobody beaten them until that day. And at half-time, I'm sure there were a few people maybe thought that winning run was going to continue. But very typically Warrington, you know, when we get it right, we really got it right. We were pretty hard to stop. But that Bradford team, those backs, all internationals, pretty much. You know, Sprogger, Stuart Spruce, I toured with in '96, great fullback. McAvoy played internationally. Scott Naylor played internationally. Leon Price, what a stellar career he had. And, you know, he'd been in the first team 18 months by that stage, and wonderful player. And the Paul brothers at halfback, it's pick a weakness. And that's before if you were going to beat Bradford, you maybe had to go at the backs because they were the easy backs compared to the forwards. You know, I'll let Jess talk about those big guys, but what a team.
I'll pick this up with yourself, Jérôme, and I've watched this game back. There's something that stands out for me the most is just the sheer size of Bradford. Incredible. It looks as if we're a part-time side and they're full-time. And I should imagine, I mean, that's not just ourselves. When they come up against, I mean, majority of Super League sides of that time, they were just so far superior in many aspects, but particular in just the sheer size of them. I mean, just look at the bench. I mean, outside Paul Deacon, Jamie Peacock, Stuart Field, and Hudson Smith. I mean, that's when actually Brian McDermott and Paul Anderson's been running at you for 30 minutes. He was aware of Jérôme, obviously being a forward as well, but just the sheer size of them.
Yeah, definitely. I think, to be honest with you, I think they changed the game. They changed the game and how it was played. They were pretty much the first side to do that. And to be honest with you, over the coming years, they got Joe Vangana, they got Lazily Vainicalo. Did you mention Vaikona was on the wing there or not?
No, he didn't play this game. It was Nathan McAvoy and Justin Brooker.
Oh, right. Vaikona was only a small bloke, so we're all right. It was just the size was just like ridiculous. Hunte mentioned it. Even in the backs, it was like boys against men, pretty much. And you knew that you had to be at your very best in order to get them once, because the sheer size and the athleticism that they had you knew that over 3 or 4 games, you could not do it against them. They just changed the game, and two, the thing is that they were relentless with it. I mean, they always talked about the awesome foursome, which was their 4 front rows. So we started the game generally with Gigi and Danny Nutley, and me and Hilt, we used to come on off the bench, but like we were small front rows, like compared to their Paul Anderson at 125, 130 kgs, and Shoot Fiedler at the time was probably 115 kgs already. That was their philosophy. That was the way they played the game, and what made it even tougher was the fact that you knew that you had to bring your A game, but you knew that you had to take your A games for 80 minutes. You couldn't afford like 1 minute of rest against these guys. And I remember, obviously, this game we managed to turn around, but I remember the semi-final of the Cup. One of the things that killed us was the bench, and Paul Anderson in particular. He came in and absolutely just run through us, and that's an image that I remember. Like, that I'll remember all my life. And there's not much you can do in terms of size. I mean, you can up your skill, you can improve your pass, but you can't improve 25 kgs over an off season. That can't be done. And the thing is as well is that at that time the game could afford this because the way the game was played, it was a slow game. So bigger players could afford to play this way. Nowadays, that team will probably struggle a bit more because of the agility. But at the time, obviously, the coaching methods weren't there to exploit these weaknesses. So it was like Hunte said, like their backs were like ridiculously fast and agile, and their forwards were just like caterpillars. So yeah, it was you knew that when you were facing them, you had a tough day at the office, and you had to bring like anything that you could, especially from a mental side, to literally just trying to compete, never mind win.
I'll just run through our 17 for this fixture. So Lee Penny at fullback, Alan, you're on the wing, Ian Knott centre, John Roper centre, Chris Campbell on the other wing. Interestingly enough, the halfbacks was Tuara Nico and Alan Langer. Front row of G, Farah and Nutley. Back row, yourself, Jérôme, Steve McCurry and Dean Busby at loose forward. On the bench, Mark Hilton, Paul Noon, Lee Breers and David Eiton. Interestingly, Daryl's gone for Tuara at standoff as opposed to Lee Breers. Do you recall this? What's his thinking behind that? Was it due to the physicality, maybe?
I'm not sure. I do remember round about that time, we'd had a couple of bad losses, and just mixing things up defensively, changing little combinations, and Brazy will admit it, he wasn't out there to make tackles, so to speak. But against Bradford, you knew you were going to have to, and I've no doubts it was probably to try and strengthen an edge and give it a little bit of size, because I was probably the biggest back that we had, and not far off the biggest guy. When you just named that team. At least height-wise, but
you're right there, Alan. It's interesting that, and Jérôme, you kind of touched on that. And you look across the forwards.
Oh,
I mean, there's not
midgets.
Much.
Yeah, it was small.
Steve McCurry, Dean Busby. I mean, Jérôme, you're probably the tallest from out the lot.
And I also think at the time the most successful team was Saints, and it was the battle of two different ways of playing the game. Saints was extravagant and pacey. I mean, the pace that Saints have always had.
Yeah,
it is scary across the board, and I'm sure people would say, well, that's what beats Bradford, because they can't take them on up the middle, but they beat them with pace. And Bradford, who weren't slow but couldn't cope with that pace that Saints had. And I know a lot of teams would try to replicate that, but unless you've got Darren Alberts and Anthony Sullivan in your team, you know, and Sean Long, one of the quickest halfbacks, etc., you can't replicate what you don't have. And Jez touched on it about how Darryl coached and how we had to be as a team and toughness. And I think at the time it was, let's make their strength also their weakness. nobody ever stands up to Bradford. They don't like it, and they didn't on the day. And toughness doesn't come in size, you know. Toughness just comes underneath the chest. And the one thing I would say, because we were a small pack, that when they got the bit between the teeth, you know, they were really hard, uncompromising players. Jez, Danny Nutley. I mean, Danny went on and played State of Origin. Yeah. And as props go, he was a midget. Yeah. He really was. He wasn't a big guy at all. But what a wonderful player. You know, he played proper different way to suit his style. And some guys out there that just wouldn't take a backward step. They weren't going to bend Bradford, but just wouldn't take a backward step. And it worked because probably rattled them that day. Because for the 80 minutes, we didn't let them bully us. And they were very much a bulls by nature and bully by, you know, so to speak. They went out and bullied teams. And at that time, a lot of teams were beaten by that Bradford team, but especially that Bradford pack in the tunnel. Just walking out, you look up and go, bloody hell, how are we going to stop this guy? And if you haven't got a strong mindset, and the ability to wipe bad memories, because every team, including the Saints and the likes, had some bad memories where Bradford had really done a job on them. And the next time you play them, you've got to be able to wipe the slate clean and go, new day, we start again. Today's our day if we do this right. And I guess that day we just about got it right.
I think that if I can add very quickly, I think that this is what I think Gigi and T brought to this team. And I remember the good old pep talk prior to coming onto the field. I remember when all the forwards used to get together, and T and G were the catalysts of this. And I think they brought in that. I don't think it's an Australian culture. I think it's more a tough man approach to the game, which is, at the end of the day, whether you play backs, whether you play forward, rugby league as a whole is a tough game. It's a game for tough people. But I think that they brought this to this team, but they led by example. Was it all legal? Possibly not. Was it necessary? Not always. Did it work? More often than not. And that. I mean, I remember first game in 2001. Hunte, you must remember this one as well. Yep. Which was a bit crazy at Wigan.
Wigan, yeah.
We did a few games like this. And I remember being in the shed, something that you can't do now, because otherwise that would cost you a checkbook with Red All. But it was intended for us to go after them and really trying to make them explode or implode. Most teams were affected by it. And I remember the philosophy that especially T had, was that you had to go after the leader of the pack. So we had to pick the biggest guy. And I remember that with Bradford, more often than not, it was Brian McDermott. With Wigan, it was obviously Andy Farrell. But we used to go after them. And I remember as a young bloke, for me, it was like, God, you got an opportunity here. Like, this is unbelievable. Like, this is you following guys that have done it. So it was like, I wouldn't say jumping on the bandwagon, but making a statement. And that's something that I think that we grew. But to touch back on what Hunte said early on, I don't think that you can play every game like this.
No,
you can't play every game like this. And I think that the result of this is the fact that it's very, very, very similar to a French approach, which is very high, very low. So it's a kind of an inconsistency. You play in your mind and you're trying to play tough. And more often than not, it will work, but you know that it can't work every time. And on that day, fortunately for us, we did work well and as a unit.
Interesting you say that, Jérôme, because my next question was, I mean, it was a very hostile match. There was no less than 4 brawls throughout the game. Brian McDermott, ends up getting sent off around about the 60-minute mark. So obviously it was a specific aim and target of the team at that time to go out there and unsettle this big pack.
Yeah, it was. It was like I said, it's not something that we do for every game. And I remember, and one of the things that we did struggle at that time at Warrington was that 99% of the time we used to aim up for bigger positions because we had this at the back of our game. We knew that we had to be tested that way, and we were going to take it up to them. Where we struggled most times was against the likes of, and I don't want to treat them as lesser team or lower positions, but we always struggled against Salford, which we're bringing that to us. We always struggled against Bobby Goulding when he was awake here, when he was wherever he was, because he brought that to us and we weren't prepared for it. But when it was against Wigan, Saints was a bit different because we never managed to get it. But Bradford, Wigan, Leeds, we took it up to them because we knew that they were big sides, they were big teams, and we knew who the target was. And that was part of our philosophy. I think that Daryl enjoyed that because he brought that side that he really enjoyed and really liked outside, like to really see it appear, really. But also, I think that we had the guys to be able to lead that. I mean, didn't take too much to send T outside of something, and he loved it. And to be honest with you, I respect T extremely highly. The way that he's come about the game and what he's done for the game, what he's done, what's happened to him, the way that he's bounced back. But as a man and as a human being, he's the kind of guy that, God, if he says something, you just get in the line and you do it because you know that he'll do it. And if you're in trouble, you know that he'll look after you. So it was one of these, mate. It was one of these, and I think that we're fortunate, myself and yourself and Hunte. I think that we're fortunate enough to have been part of that side of the game. And fortunately for me, I've experienced the more professional side as well. But I don't think that this can be replicated anymore. I mean, when you see abroad nowadays, it's like everywhere. Well, in the past, it was part and parcel of it. Is it good? Is it bad? I don't think you can judge it. I just think it is part of that time and that era.
So we kick off. We get off to a promising start. Tries from Dean Busby and Langer with Leon Price going for Bradford. And around about 25 minutes in, as we've touched on, the game starts to boil over. There's a set two between Andrew G and Fielding. Both get sent to the sin bin. And we've touched on Twonica when we briefly on Andrew G. Alan, Andrew G come over with a massive reputation. Do you think he lived up to it his time at Warrington?
I think it's a difficult way you judge certain positions, because when you play with GG, you knew exactly what he was doing, and he was doing exactly what he'd been brought over to do. And he was a really intelligent rugby player and good skills. He played. I've seen him play in Australia, playing the 9 role, etc. And he saw things, and I really enjoyed playing fullback with GG, because you could run off him. He picked little bits, and he would say, "Hunte, we're running here, we're doing this," and you could say to him if you saw something. But more often than not, you didn't have to. He'd spot it, and yeah, he probably gets a little bit of a bad rap in respects to living up to expectations, because he came over with Alan Langer and Tawera Nikau. 2 huge names who really did perform and were able to perform in slightly more extravagant positions. I mean, you just mentioned Tawera played 6 in that game, but as a loose forward and a ball playing loose forward. But also in the modern game, where a lot of loose forwards are just extra front rowers, well, Tawera did that and always did that. You know, if there was a tough carry, Tawera would always put his hand up, as well as be able to put someone through a space and create space for other players, etc. So, did we see the best of Andrew G? Probably not. but I don't think we saw the best of any of those 99 plus signings that were older than 28, 29, because we probably passed our best. Did we still have good rugby in us? Yeah. And we showed that, you know, that there was still a lot of rugby in us. But I think as rugby players, positionally maybe slightly older in the forwards, but as a back, you're looking at a window between the age of 24 and 28. Really need to be your make your money years. That's when you should be at your best. And probably go from 26 to 30, 31 as a forward. And we were all at the back end of those windows or past those windows. Hopefully still playing some pretty good rugby. But did GG play as well as I'd seen him play for Queensland and Brisbane? Probably not. But I still think he did. I think he did a great job. And, you know, I enjoyed playing with him. But we're also comparing him to Alalanger and Tuerda, which is it's a harsh comparison, but it's one that happens in sport. You play with real quality and you're going to get compared and you're going to get brought into the conversation as who was the better and why did that work or didn't it work. So, you know, that would be my summation of Gigi. Yeah, he wasn't too bad. You know, he certainly did his job and he was there when we needed him and he was a leader. But did we see the best of him at Warrington? Probably not.
So we go ahead, as mentioned, G Fielding then spend a bit of time in the sin bin. In the latter half of the first half, Bradford then just run riot. Tries from Scott Nail and Robbie Paul and 2 from our current academy coach, Paul Anderson. I'll have to remind him of that one. Alan, I just want to touch on a player I've mentioned there and someone that we know very well, a good friend of ours. And after watching the footage back, I forgot how much of an actual grub he is when he was playing. And I know he's going to see that as a very much of a badge of honour, you know that. Scott Naylor, he won't stop throughout the game. He's into the players, he's into the referee. I think he's to the crowd at one point. And you know, do you mean he's like Jake Connor, isn't he?
Yeah, very much. Probably not as skillful as Jake, and I'm sure he'd admit that as well. But really underrated player, Scott. It was always a tough and compromising player.
He was a big man.
Yeah, really big guy. And I played against him when I was at Warrington, not so much when I was at Salford because my preferred side was the right side, and at St Helens I played right centre and used to mark Nathan McAvoy, which was walk in the park, you know, pretty boy, just walk out there and if find a bit of space, he'd run into it, but probably not the toughest of players. And whereas Scott was the complete opposite. But we played on opposite sides of the field when he was at Salford and I was at St Helens. Came to Warrington, would have preferred to have played on the right, but wasn't one of those, I can only play on the right-hand side. And you know those players. Oh, you can't put me on the left. Yeah. I throughout my career, played left and right wing, left and right centre. Toa preferred the right-hand side, so I'll play left. So it put me up against Scott for the first time, probably in my career. And I remember a couple of games before this in the 99 season and probably earlier in 2000 where he's in my ear throughout the game. And we had conversations about it in the cave at Sedgley Park. Those lonely afternoons waiting for the academies to come. Because he's just not like that off the field, as you know. And he admitted he hated because he kept trying, but he never wound me up. I'm pretty laid back. You can say pretty much anything to me and it won't affect me. And he never went where he shouldn't go. You know, there was never anything about race or anything like that because it was better than that, to be fair, Scott. He'd rather really get under your skin about something that might be a bit touchy. And he never did. I used to smile.
We loved it though, didn't he? Do you mean we call him in a grub?
Yeah.
I see reaction now. He's going to absolutely love it, isn't he?
Yeah, he would. And the best way to play him was to ignore him. Just completely ignore him. And try and beat him on the field, which was tough because he was a great defender and he offered something with the ball. You know, he was a big unit. And I know at half-time, a few fingers were pointed at a few people and tactically, you look at the bench and we didn't have any wingers out there. So they put Babs, Johnny Roper on the right wing and put me into the left centre. First 5 minutes, he gets a try. I've not had a pass all day. I've got Ian Knott as the centre. I've not had a pass all day. Knott is doing a job. You know, obviously Toa was injured. And we were struggling in the backs, you know, forwards were with personnel-wise. So Babs gets that pass, and I've got to deal with Scott Naylor for the next 40 minutes. But hopefully that was one of the pieces of the jigsaw that was fixed. Yeah. Because they'd run right a little bit down that side and created a few breaks and what have you. And although I didn't have much to do with the ball, yeah, that's part of rugby, you know. And I suppose my reputation's far more with the ball and scoring tries, etc. But it's only 50% of the game. And I played centre with Lee Brace for a long time. You know you're going to make a lot of tackles when you're doing that. So it was.
Playing shoulder reconstructions when you left Warrington.
I know, unbelievable. He can't spell tackle Brace, can he? So, but what a player to play with. You know what I mean? And I also think his introduction helped. You know, because he just creates little spaces and takes pressure off Alan Langer. You know, who was a genius.
So you've touched on it there, Alan. So Jérôme, I'd like to ask yourself. It's probably hard to remember what was said at half time, but knowing Darryl and how we coach, what would have been the theme? What would have been his approach at half time? We're going into the sheds, 30 points to 12 down at this stage, and the writing's on the wall.
I think that. Well, I think we've explained a little bit about Darryl's character and obviously his mindset. I can't remember in much details, but I can't imagine that he would have been beating too much around the bush to try to get us back on track after what we possibly would have said prior to the game and the way we would approach the game with that tough mindset and get taken up to them. And then you turn up in the dressing sheds, very small dressing sheds at Wilderspool, where you're really close to each other and the coach is like pretty much in your face whenever he gives his half-time speech. But when you turn up like 40 minutes later and you're down by 30 or however we were down 20 odd points, I can just imagine his hands being smashed together, making sure that he got everyone's attention, making sure that everyone that had their eyes on whatever he was saying. One thing that he hated was people having their head down and not looking, and he always reminded you that side of respect, I would say, with a capital R. And I can even remember some video session or some halftime speech where he was trying to throw something that he could grab whoever wasn't looking at. Fortunately, that never happened to me. I don't think it happened to Hunte either. But if you're one of these people, I think that you got the right the death stare. Should I call it? But yeah, I think it would have been quite simple. The halftime speech, either aim up or Monday is going to be a pretty tough day. So yeah, I don't think
video.
Yeah, very long video. But yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I think that sometimes tactically there's different ways to obviously to put a message across, because whenever you talk about tactics, there might be some options. When you give like a tough speech, there's generally not there's never any other option than pretty much listening and doing it. And I think that this was possibly one of his strongest assets, which is delivering a strong pitch at the right time to the right people. And like we alluded to, like, you know, earlier in our conversation, I think that in this game it worked, and at crucial times in crucial games it did work. It's just consistency that was the issue more than anything.
So we start the second half in positive fashion. John Roper scores out wide. Then Langer puts Ian Knott through a gap to score. And then Langer himself scores a lovely try from a side-in run beside the post. We're now within 2 points. It's quickly becoming the Alan Langer masterclass. Alan, you've played with some real top-class, world-class international players throughout your career. How good was Langer, and where would you rank him with the best players you've played with?
Right up there. Spoke about we didn't get Alfie at his best either. He'd retired at Brisbane. but there's nothing that he hadn't done in the game. Wonderful competitor, tough. I mean, it might surprise a lot of people the first time you stand next to him how small he is, and to have played at the level and command the respect of every player that he's played with. But he did that because he produced, and he played a tough brand of rugby because he went to the line, and he took those shots. Again, everybody will always remember Alfie for the wonderful things he did with the ball in hand. But he was a good defender as well. He got his body in the way. He didn't, who remembers Alfie laid on the floor with someone having trampled over him? It didn't happen. He survived for such a long time in the NRL, which Jez can testify for. He played there. If you're going to be a halfback, there's some wonderful, skillful players out there that never made it because they can't tackle. Unlike here, where there's a trade-off sometimes. They had to have the complete game. He did, and he was the best of all those guys with the complete game. His legs were fading a little bit. He probably didn't quite go through as many gaps as he had done in the past, but he was just a wonderful reader of the game. And again, on the wing and in the centre, you had to. It was frustrating sometimes because you had to wait and let play come to you, so to speak. As with Gigi, when I played at fullback, it was a dream to be able to play with the likes of Andrew G, Tuwerd and Nick-out, and especially Alan Langer, because you could follow them. You could see the spaces and the confusion that they caused the best defences on their best day. And he comes up with wonderful kicks for himself, for teammates, relieving kicks, wonderful passes, outside, inside, long, short. He just had everything in his game, in his armour. And I think Warrington are indebted to the player and the ball player and the smartness that Lee Braze had and became. Because he was always going to be a wonderful player from when he first came through as a kid at St Helens, really, really talented. But I think those 2 years with Alan Langer really, really focused a lot of things for Brazy as well. And so even when he left a legacy with him as well that went on for another 10 or 12 years. But he's one of the kinds of players that you just can't speak highly enough about. And that says it all. And I've been a very, very fortunate guy to play with a lot of world-class players at club level, but especially at international level, and against the best. And he ranks right up there with, the Alan Langers, the Laurie Dailies, the Brad Fittlers, these once-in-a-lifetime kind of players at club level that the likes of Warrington, but Brisbane more so, Roosters and Penrith.
Who'd be number one, Alan, that you've played with?
That I've played with, probably Alfie. As a halfback, probably Alfie. Wonderful player. Absolute genius. Against Brad Fittler, he's like a nemesis from Aussie schoolboys, right through to, World Cup finals and Test series. Just again, a wonderful player, but it ain't too much between the two, and when you're talking, I was gutted that I didn't play against Wally Lewis on the 92 tour. He was player coach at Gold Coast, and he was in the programme he was supposed to play, and then he pulled out as we arrived at the ground. And I was gutted because as a Wakefield lad supporting Trinity and getting to watch him play in 85, the world's best, and like Alfie played with Wally Lewis, as a young guy playing for Queensland and Australia. But Alfie has that kind of aura about him, he's right up there in the handful of the world's best players of his time. And his record, is unquestionable. World Cup final winner. I hate him for it still. Ashes series, State of Origin series. I mean, what he did the year after, when, you know, the only player to ever not be in the country and come and do what he'd done in that game against Bradford, get over for a try and create space and create opportunities, and, you know, he raised aloft and walked off the field, which we funnily reminded of him the week after when we got absolutely nailed by Ellen. Well, I bet that don't get your podcast, but they won up a cricket score. And
yeah, I must say
one big thing with Alfie. One big thing with Alfie. I'm literally going to be 1 minute here. The thing that shocked me or amazed me the most was the fact that Hunte said it. He arrived at Warrington as a massive signing, but obviously a retired NRL player. So you'd think, to a lot of players, it was possibly trying to look after your pension. 2 years to look after your pension and making sure that you play a good set of enjoyable footy. But what shocked me about Alfie was, and Hunte will remember that, was before every game, and Alfie will probably hate me for saying it, but he had a ritual, and I don't know whether I can say this on podcast, but he got sick. He got sick before a game. He used to always get sick, physically sick. And I used to look at him in amazement, because I thought, why the heck is the guy getting sick? Do you understand what I mean? Like, why is it? And as a young bloke, obviously you don't think like that. But then when you analyse like the greatest of the game, and that's not just in rugby league, I'm talking about the world over, in every aspect of sport. Talking about Mike Tyson, did a great piece, great interview one day, and he said before every fight he was fear. He had fear across his head and inside his guts. Tiger Woods says the same. That fear of failure and the pressure that it's within themselves to make sure that they don't disappoint themselves or anyone else. And I think that what Alfie had, and that's what Alfie brought to this team and to also Super League as a whole. And despite the fact that obviously he wasn't at his best, he was an over 30 retiree in inverted comma, but his skills were still there. His body probably wasn't following, but his competitiveness and the pressure that he put on himself was just like amazing to see.
I think that's a good word, competitiveness, because he brought that to training. I mean, you'll never meet a happier, more jovial guy, and it was great to spend time with off the training paddock and off the playing field. But once you went onto grass, I mean, maybe not quite in the gym, but he knew his body as well. But I think people were surprised because he come out of retirement, how fit he was, weren't they, Jess? You know, and
yeah, but it wasn't just even just in training. You're playing darts with him and he wants to win. You're playing cards with him, he wants to win. You're playing whatever it is, golf. God, how many competitive. He just wanted to win and never give an inch. And I think that's the common denominator of any great athletes and guys that just stamp their name across any discipline, pretty much.
So on the over mark, after a high shot on Mark Hilton, that again results in another brawl. The high shot coming from the current Toronto Wolfpack head coach, Brian McDermott. McDermott's shown the red card. Jez, I'm going to ask you this. What was Brian Mack like to play against? You mentioned earlier about to be figureheads within teams. You mentioned Andy Farrell. You mentioned Brian McDermott at Bradford. But what was it like to come up against?
He was just tough as nails. He was big. He was a big player. But he wasn't. I wouldn't put him in the category of the Joe Vangana, even the Stuart Fieldens or the Paul Anderson. I think he was more a much more durable forward, like front row. But I would say during these 3, 4, 5 years at Bradford, I would say he was possibly one of the toughest guys in the league, bar none. I think that Moza would possibly be in there. In fact, would definitely be in that bracket. They're not as big, but will never take a backward step. And also, anything that he does, he used to like bring everyone with him, as opposed to doing it on his own. And I think that was the big thing about Brian Mack. I think that it was just a no-nonsense player. You know that he was playing really tough, but he was playing very fair. And the only time that he kind of lost it was when like people were getting him out of his like literally out of his path pretty much. But he was very fair and very tough. Like, to be honest with you, I always enjoyed playing against him, and I think that the way that he played transpired in the way that he coached. And I think that despite the fact that his game was very simple, he was a very, very smart individual.
He's small, lad.
Yeah.
He's small, lad. I played with Bry from like 10 years old. So I'd known him when he went into the army, when he went to the Marines. And I think that shaped him vastly as a young man, 16, 17 years old. I remember him going back up to Eastmoor. And in the summer, I went home to see my parents and how fit he was. And how that uncompromising attitude that he had, because he wasn't a fighter. But if somebody was going to throw punches, he was going to finish. He wasn't a fighter, he was a finisher. He was that tough, and he obviously a boxing champion in the army. And he was the one guy that I don't think anybody wanted to get one-on-one in the fight. We knew we had to have a brawl, especially the forwards, but nobody wanted to be the one that got pulled out by Bry Mack. And I was glad internationally that he was a teammate. I remember one of the brawls, I pulled out Scott Naylor. I'm just glad that it wasn't, and like I say how big he was, but I'm just glad it wasn't one of those big forwards. Leave the fighting to the guys like Jez.
So there's more magic from Alfie. Sets up a beautiful try for Lee Penny. Again, Alan, as you mentioned, he goes right into the line and gets a lovely offload as he's going down inside to Lee Penny. Lee Penny does a fantastic job standing up Stuart Spruce. No easy job. Turns him inside out and then goes under the posts. Just want to touch on Lee Penny, Jez. Fantastic servant for Warrington. What was it like? What was he like to play with?
Mate, great player, unbelievable player. You couldn't get any more Wiganer out of a Wiganer than Lee Penny. And they're
running close.
Yeah, I wonder whether Wigan is an island of its own in the middle of the British Isles. It's just like the things that he did. First and foremost, he was so tough, mate. He was a tough player. And also the funny things is that, the funny thing, it's not funny, is you told him to do something and he did it. And as a fullback, I think the game has evolved into fullback is, I would say, is possibly the toughest position to play at this moment in time. With the demands of the game now, both in offense and defense, it's just ridiculous. You need to read things, you need to see opportunities, you need to be tough. And I thought that Lee already had that. And obviously his physical capabilities were unbelievable. Like his footwork was unreal. And when he broke through, 9 times out of 10, it was a try. And again, if you broke through, you better touch your head really well, because he could come up with something crazy. I've got images of him like being sent off. He was like a very uncompromising player. And to be honest, a fantastic servant. And I know that prior to me signing, he had some fantastic years with the Wolves jumper, with the wire jumper. Absolutely great. One of the things that I think that limited him in terms of like made him like an international player and a possible man of steel. I think that he was putting so much pressure on himself, and he played the game in his head, I reckon, about 100 times prior to kickoff. It was unbelievable. The amount of pressure he put on himself was so great that I think he sucked up a lot of energy and a lot of things out of him. But undoubtedly a fantastic player. I remember my first game for Warrington, we toured. Do you remember, Hunte? We toured in France and we played against my old team.
Yep.
It was a friendly game. And for a week, he asked me who was going to play fullback for them for a week. And I repeated him every day. This is the guy. This is what he does. And for a week, I thought that was talking to me in French. He wasn't understanding me. But it was just like a level of, I don't think it was a level of detail. I think it was like the stress was eating him from inside. But undoubtedly, I say, like, in terms of class and in terms of like athleticism and capabilities, he's definitely right up there. And to be honest with you, like, even ashamed that he finished his career at the Wire like so early, and then went on to become like a even bigger player, because I definitely think that he had everything in the book to enable him to do so.
So Steve McCurry, Spud McCurry crashes over near the end, and the comeback is complete. We end up winning 42-32, being an incredible turnaround from the first half. Al, do you remember much about the post game?
Not really. It would have been a usual Warrington, you know, we get in, we sing the song, we bang on the wall. At Wilderspool, win or lose, you had to go in the bar. You know, it was see sponsors, things like that. And there was a big foldable curtain that we didn't want to open, because the general public and the hard-working fans that, you know, used to stand in the Fletcher end would be on the other side of this foldable curtain. And when you'd had a bad game, you just didn't want it to open. But there was a reality, you've got to face them. You've got to face them. When you'd won, you couldn't wait for it to get opened, because the great fans, and as rugby league fans are, you know, they're passionate and they're committed. And what I hope a lot of sports people realise, especially in team sports, I'm not sure they all do now, because they live in such a bubble, you know, the professionalism, which is a wonderful thing for the athlete, but maybe not for the personality itself of the individual. It protects them, and they don't see that what you do on a Sunday or Friday night or whenever you play affects these people's lives for the next week.
Yeah.
Or for the next 3-4 months, when we've gone through a period of not playing rugby and people are chomping at the bit. I've missed sport, all sport, but especially rugby. And I kind of got it when it was part-time, because I was old enough to have been in that era where you had a bad game, you were going to get it at work the next day, you know, and you had to suck it up. And it kind of built a resilience in the players and a mental toughness. And it was nice to take the accolades, because it's nice to be recognised and people to remember 20 years on. But at that moment, you know, what a wonderful game. Jess, you were amazing. That tackle, etc. And it gives a nice warm glow inside. And I'm sure everybody gets that from doing something well. We just got the opportunity to do it every week in front of thousands of people. So when you do it bad, you don't want to see those people tell you how rubbish you've been. You've just had Daniel van der Velde telling you, or in our case, Carl Harrison telling you, or whoever your coach is at the time, you know, and sometimes your teammates going, bloody hell, you've had a bad one today. And, you know, so that after the game, we wouldn't have been able to wait for that curtain to come back and go in and have a beer and celebrate. Because we celebrated those victories, which again has gone out of the game and goes with the professionalism and isn't a bad thing. But I also think there's a control that we had and the seniority where older players would pull younger kids into line if they got a little bit too uppity or overstepped the marker or maybe had one too many, you know, and that self-control that we had as a group and the likes of Tuera and Alfie and hopefully myself brought to the team that we were able to enforce in a positive way when you had such a great victory, because a mark in the season, it didn't change our year. You know, we finished where we finished. But as a one-off game, they were a great team. And we started the decline of Bradford that year because they went on to not win the grand final, which
Right.
they were odds-on favourites to do so at that point in time. And when the Challenge Cup was in May, so they'd already won one trophy, knocking us out of, which we were a little bit bitter about, because, you know, everybody wants to go and play on the big stage. And there was a little bit of self-satisfaction that we'd stopped that run because they were unbeaten. Nobody'd been able to do what we'd done that day. And a little bit more satisfaction later down the line that a team that had stopped you doing something, and maybe you helped stop them. Because in the league, we opened a crack, we opened a wound, and a couple of other teams got in there. I'd like to think that we did the hard work, because doing it first, nobody else had been able to do it. You know, so you can look back and take great satisfaction that you were part and parcel of that. And you know, it's nice for the likes of Jimmy Lee Penny, as we call him, Jimmy, to get a little bit more of the limelight when there were the likes of Toa and Alfie and Tawera taking a lot more of that. For the guys like Jez and Danny Nutley, Danny Farrer, to be recognised for taking on that monstrous Bradford pack, because they were, and for some critical acclaim to be given on being able to do something that nobody had been able to do, which is stand up to the bullies, come out of the other side, winning, you know, so to speak. If it was a boxing match, to knock them out when they'd been the Mike Tyson, they'd knocked everybody out round after round, week after week, and nobody come up with an answer. And our small team, in comparison to them, had shown that they had a toughness and a togetherness that were able to get over that, you know. And it would have been celebrated a little bit harder than maybe Huddersfield. I think we'd lost 2 weeks before against, and that was the Warrington. It was, you know, there was just no rhyme and reason for it.
So, Jérôme, we actually finished that season with relatively decent form. We win 6 of the last 8 games and eventually finished 6th in Super League. Jérôme, what's your overriding memory of the 2000 season?
I would say pretty much along the lines of what we've discussed, obviously, over the last hour and a half or so. I think the bigger thing was some fantastic victories, but also some very low losses. So pretty much like a lot of inconsistency when at the start of the season, when you look back. And I remember, obviously, standing in Wilderspool and doing the team photograph, and you think, God, we've got a great chance here to win something here. We've got like a fantastic squad. Everything's in our favour here to do something. But then when you come at the back end of that, after 30 odd games, you realise that a team needs to gel, and there are some changes that needs to be implemented, and possibly the opportunities that we didn't take, and we played some really tough games at some point, and we forgot to do the same thing at others. So I think it was just like, I would say there was a lot of gloss towards the back end of the season, because I remember like we kind of like pat each other on the back, finishing 6th off the back of a good finish. Like you said, like six wins out of 8. You know what the Warrington faithful were like, or are like. As long as you win and you finish well, I think that there's that feeling of you've achieved something. But as an athlete and as a team, I think that we fell a little bit short. And I remember having a good talk prior to the Mad Monday celebration, thinking at the back end of the season, saying, listen, we started something good here. We can go up a notch, and we have to. But to do that, we're going to have to take some, I wouldn't say some drastic action, but we're going to have to change a little. And at the time, obviously, the game kind of enabled you to take these little side steps. So there was definitely some disappointment, and I think that Darryl was one of the first ones to say it, because we hoped to finish the season much higher than that, considering the level of talent that we had, and the opportunity I had to make a good season turn into a great one. but it wasn't to be. So I think we went on to have another good off season and dealt the cards once again. But yeah, first season in Super League for me. On a personal level, I was happy to play so many games and to be part of a great group of people. But from a performance side, I think that we kind of missed the boat, especially on crucial occasions, because we failed to deliver when it mattered most in terms of consistency more than anything else.
Super. Guys, thank you so much for that. Fantastic insight. Hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Now we're on to the rerun of the Bradford Warrington Wolves v Bradford Bulls in 2000.
But first of all, we'll start with the two teams. Warrington, they line up with Lee Penny at fullback, Alan Hunt and Chris Campbell on the wings, Ian Knott and John Roper as centres. Darryl van der Velde sprung a surprise by starting with Nick Howe at 6. Langers at 7 at scrum half. The front row is G, Farron and Nutley, and the back three are Guisset, McCurry and Busby. For the Bulls, we have Stuart Spruce at fullback. On the wings are Nathan McAvoy and Justin Brooker. Centres are Scott Naylor and Liam Price. Half backs are the two Paul brothers. The front row is Brian McDermott, James Lowes and Stuart Fielding. And the back three is Forshaw, Boyle and Mackay. It should be a great game here today. Mick, how do you see it going for the Wolves?
Well, I don't know how the Wolves will play it. I mean, they're certainly, the confidence levels must be very down, Adam, especially after an heavy home defeat last week against Castleford. Whereas the Bulls had a fabulous win at Headingley, shoved 40 points past Leeds at Headingley, without much possession or position. So the confidence levels in both teams couldn't be a bigger contrast. I'm anticipating nothing and looking forward to a smashing game of Super League football.
Yeah, it certainly will be a smashing game, that's for sure. Warrington have competed for the first half in every single game so far. Out of the 7 losses we've had, we've been in the lead out of 5 of those games at half-time. Let's hope they can carry that on for the full 80. What do you think, Mick, about Nick Howe playing at 6?
Well, it's certainly an interesting selection, and Darryl van der Velde obviously running out of patience with the selections he's put on in the first half of the season. Nick Howe obviously has a lot of talent, can beat a man, can offload, he's got good feet, he's quite quick, but it's a big ask putting him up against Henry Paul.
It certainly is for someone with not much experience at 6, but here we go. Spruce takes the first drive, and he's well and truly met there by Farron and McCurry. McAvoy scoots out, beats the first man, but can't get past Danny Nutley, who comes in over the top. Lowes to McDermott. He's well met there by Guisset, the French international for the Wolves, who was man of the match last week against Cass. Lowes there to Henry Paul, looks to offload, keeps hold though, he's knocked on. That's a great start for the Wolves, just what they wanted. But there was half a break there, Mick, for the Bulls.
Yeah, Henry Paul just showing there's nothing on, and he just put a little bit of a step on, and he almost ghosted through the line. But in the process, the ball was dislodged and he lost it. A good position for Warrington. Strong wind in Warrington's face. That could be crucial in this first half.
Certainly will be, but here we go. Nick Howe at 6. Run around with Knott. A good move there for the Wolves. Penny comes onto it, but he's well tackled by Scott Naylor and Price. Nick Howe acting half, finds McCurry. Runs straight at Henry Paul, but he's well met by Boyle, and Naylor's come over the top. Langer misses out Nutley, finds G. Looks like there's Warrington have been done for crossing there. Bit of a poor mistake there, Mick, by Warrington.
Well, just mistimed the run. A flat ball. It's interesting that Warrington put the spread on the first chance they had playing against the wind, put the spread on right across the field. And that's what they did in the semi-final. And they really ran the Bulls ragged for that first 20 minutes in the semi-final. And I'll tell you, the Bulls felt it.
They certainly did. It was good tactics by Van der Velde in the semis, and a bad mistake there by Brad Mackay with a kick. It's not very often you see Mackay make a mistake. It's been a fantastic play for the Bulls. He's been an inspiration, Mick, wouldn't you say?
Oh, he's absolutely. He's straightened the Bulls up in the middle of the field. Like Nick Howe, he's got good feet and makes his way through heavy traffic very, very well. Gives good direction to that midfield section.
That's a good kick there by Roper. It was a mistake by the Bulls. Second penalty of the game. Surely there was offside there. Nothing's been given. Robbie Paul puts the shot on Danny Nutley. Surely offside. Nothing's there, but a good play of the ball. The Wolves use the short side through Guisset. It's brought down by Liam Price there. The Wolves really, they're drinking from the last chance saloon. They've got to win today to have any chance of making that top 5. Langer now to Nickau. To Busby, another run around. Looks for Roper on the angle, but Nickau keeps hold. Nearly through. He's struggling to play the ball. Nothing's been given though. Langer. Face ball to Nutley. Centre field, last tackle, 20 metres out. What can Langer do? Will he take it to the line? No, he comes to Nickau, he chips through, keeps it low. McAvoy takes it. He's lost the ball. The Wolves are over. The Wolves are over. A great shot on McAvoy. It looks like the Wolves are over there through Busby. Try time here in Wilderspool. That's just what they needed to boost the confidence, Mick. A great start for him.
Yeah, that's just what they need to get the confidence levels up. Great chase. Langer put the kick in. Was it Langer? Nickau put the kick in. Well, there you are then. Nickau having an influence straight away. And McAvoy found himself in a tough situation, trying to scramble the ball back over the goal line to retain possession, and somebody just ripped the ball from him. Fair play. It's a try, 4 points.
It looks by McAvoy's leaving the field. It looks like he's caught a knee there, Mick. The Wolves certainly put the body in the line. They know, like I've just said, they're drinking from the last chance saloon. They've got to play to the full potential today.
Yeah, that top 5 spot, top 5 chance is slipping away from Warrington, and that increases the anxiety levels throughout the club, and they need a good start, and that's just what they've got.
Was a good start. Good try there by Busby. He's not had many starts for the Wolves so far in Super League 5. That'll do his confidence no harm at all. Roper to add the extras. Oh, great kick there by John Roper. That makes the score Warrington 6, Bradford Bulls 0. That'll do Roper's confidence the world of good. It looks like Deacon's just come on, Mick, for the Bulls. Do you think he'll go on the wing?
I don't think so. I'll see where he goes. He might switch Henry out, so he's put Price out onto wing, and he'll probably move Deacon to scrum half and Henry out into centre. But we'll see when the first scrum lines up.
Yep. Yeah, Henry Paul, such a versatile player. He can play in any position probably on the park. But he does a short kick-off, gets some great height on it. Barrett takes it well, looks to offload but keeps hold. Price makes a tackle here, and it's Campbell for his first touch of the ball this afternoon. He scoots, makes a couple of metres and stops, gets a bit of a facial off Price there, right in front of the touch judge, but he must have been blind not to give that. And oh, Price came over the top there, but nothing given. Busby. High shot there by Boyle. Bulls look a little bit rattled at the start. That's the third penalty in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, just eye contact, wasn't really anything vicious. Good call from Mr. Ganson, and puts Warrington back upfield and had no pressure at all yet, Warrington.
I'm quite surprised they've started with Anderson, yet they've got Fielding down on the team sheet. Good, and there he is, Paul Anderson, a great shot on his opposite number.
Yeah, and they've done that once before to the Bulls and copped some criticism. Oh, that's a great ball. McKelly's through, inside. Deary me.
Deary me there. He summed it up for me. John Roper is not the crowd favourite here. And let's hope the crowd don't get on his back. He needs now a big pat on the back. The Wolves could have been in, but a great ball there by Nickau. And a fantastic run by McCurry. He's great with the ball in hand, Mick.
Absolutely. And a perfect serve to Roper. That was just a 6-point catch for Roper. The defence had been shattered and he'd been under the post. So that's a let up for the Bulls.
Certainly is. There looks to be no love lost in that front row.
And it looks as though the Bulls have just moved the Paul brothers out one position.
Yeah, just like we predicted. Good tackle there by Busby. Deacon acted out, gives it to McDermott. Good shot on him there by Busby, and he's lost the ball. Great work there by the Wolves. Great defence. They're putting the bodies on the line here, Mick. There's certainly a great shot there. They do look flustered, the Bulls. Another unforced error. That's the 5th one.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say they look particularly flustered, Adam. I'm just saying it's terrific defensive work from Warrington. They're storming in, they're getting the numbers there, they're coming in with a full load, and they're putting it to the Bulls.
They certainly are. Might have been crossing there. Look a bit rusty with the moves, with the new combination acts in half. Or at half back, sorry. Guisset takes it to the line. He's well met by Mackay. Fans are certainly enjoying the Super League rugby here this afternoon. Great ball to Penny. Steps. Oh, he was nearly through, but Lowe's there over the top. Saves it. Boyle's a mile offside here in front of Ganson. Will he give it? No, he's not. It was a mile offside. Lowe's it over the top over McCurry. This is a great start here in round 12 of Super League. Langer takes it to the line, looks for runners, finds Penny. Penny passes to Nicow, to Guisset. Guisset steps, goes for the line. It's 2 metres short. Last tackle now. What can the Wolves do? Danny Farrell, little chip. Has he got it? No, it's turnover there. A good passage of play there, but the Bulls scrambled well, Mick.
Yeah, they do scramble well, the Bulls. They defend the line. They have a fabulous defensive record. If you just see their 100 points they've given away in the first 10 games. So they're the best defence in the league by a long, long chalk. But, hey, outstanding football from Warrington. Been playing 10 minutes now. Oh, almost another mistake. And the Bulls have not had the ball over the 40.
And there, Nicow there, he's been put there for a reason. He tried to rough Robbie Paul up there. The last time they played against each other, Robbie Paul spent most of the match in the blood bin, but when he did come on the field, he didn't half make an impact. Chip over there by Henry Paul. It's a 40-20 if it runs out. I don't think it will do though. It's a fantastic kick. It stayed just a metre in field, and Lee Penny just has to drop down there and take the tackle off Price. Campbell scoots, tries to go round Price, just makes a couple of metres. It's now the Wolves' turn to be under pressure. Roper acting half, fires the pass out to Busby. A great run by Busby. Surely that was a high shot. It wasn't given though. Hunt comes in and takes the pressure off the forwards. He's well met though by Mick Forshaw there, just outside the Wolves 20. Langer, great ball there to Knott. Good tackle by Justin Brooker, formerly of the West Club in Australia. Last tackle, Langer, is he caught? No, he's not. Puts the kick in to centre field, there's nobody there. Leon Price covers it though, takes it well. Looks for the gap, tries to go through Roper, he does so. And Busby, good run there by Leon Price. Such an exciting young talent. McDermott runs at G again, there's certainly no love lost there. This is a great battle mix so far.
Oh, absolutely. I think all Super League games are. I mean, there's no quarter given in any game.
It's certainly not. Deakin there. Tries to put Spruce through a gap but couldn't do so. Here's Anderson again. Great tackle there by John Roper. Makes up for that earlier error. Good tackle there by Roper. Bulls use the short side through Spruce. He puts the chip kick in. Taken out by Nicow. Nothing given though. That's great acting. Gee whiz. And a good play there by Campbell. He's up on his feet now, he's Spruce. There's nothing up with him. Knott. Good running there by Ian Knott. The Wolves have got something like nearly 10 forwards out there on the park today, Mick. Yeah. Are they trying to out-muscle the Bulls, you think?
Well, that is a big ask, and I think that would be the wrong option. But what they're doing, they are playing positive football. They're playing quick play balls, coming onto the ball. But we've just seen in this last 2 or 3 minutes the effect of the wind. Again, Langer can't get any depth on his kick. First, great tackle, great defence and great chase. First, Henry Paul put a long kick in, and the Wolves were back on their own line. And then Spruce just put a little chip in, and the ball goes deep. So the Wolves have got some defending to do now.
They certainly have. Seen some great defence from the Wolves. It's not been a big feature of their play, but at times they can put the shots in. Deakin to Naylor, tries to go round Roper. Roper gets his man and he's helped out by Campbell and Nicow. Good defence there by the Wolves. Campbell chases, Bull steps him and beats him. Looks to offload, but Campbell sticks to his man well. His last tackle, Lowe's are acting half. Using the short side, passes to Naylor. Good hands to Price. Price for the corner, he's in. Great work there by James Lowe's. This guy's just got fantastic vision. He noticed that Campbell had come in through his wing to make 2 tackles on the trot. And gee whiz, great vision, he used the short side, fantastic. And I've just mentioned that Liam Price is what a great talent he is. He's in the corner for a good 4-pointer for the Bulls.
Outstanding football, good options from James Laws, good vision, and Naylor did absolutely the perfect thing, served the perfect ball to Price, and Price just had a straight foot race to the corner. Fabulous football from the Bulls.
Yeah, it certainly was. Very disappointing for the Wolves, though. It's like you said, they didn't get many metres on the kick, but they kept the Bulls down to about 25 metres in that set of 6, and then the last tackle came, and Price just crept in at the corner. Poor mistake, Mick, there.
It certainly was, and the game's just turned around. The game turned when Henry Paul got his first decent kick in. From there on, the Wolves never got the ball back over the halfway line.
No, he certainly pinned him in their own 20. Like I said, this wind, it's difficult to get out there. Henry Paul strokes it over with ease. Great conversion. That makes the score Warrington 6, Bradford 6. Well, I hope the game stays like this. It's certainly a humdinger mix so far.
Well, it's an outstanding setting. Apart from the wind that's blowing into Warrington's face, it's a perfect day for rugby league. It's not too warm, it's not too cold. Outstanding conditions, the field's in perfect condition. And we have Mr. Ganson giving a little lecture to James Laws and Nick Out. I don't know what he needs to tell them. It's not as though they haven't played the game before.
Is it on? There's a knock on! And Campbell, is he offside? He's offside there, it's a penalty. But Ganson's given a scrum down. And about that for the decision. Well, I just can't believe that, but the Wolves, at least they've got an opportunity now. What about that for a decision, Mick? Naylor kicked the ball into touch. Surely it was offside?
Absolutely. The ball was stood there. He didn't want to play it, Naylor. He gave himself up, but had no option but to kick it. Couldn't wait any longer to put himself offside. Took the percentages and got away with it.
Certainly did get away with it. Langer there takes it to the line for the first time this afternoon. McCurry on the short side. Is he there? He's a metre short. Farah fires it out to Langer. To Nutley. Nutley tries to go through foreshore. He can't do so. Langer again takes it to the line. There's the gap. Little chip kick. He's over. It's Langer over there. He goes to the in-goal touch. Judge David Lowe. What will Ganson give? What's he going to give? The touch judge has seen something. He was closest to make a decision. It doesn't matter. The decision's given. Alan Alfie Langer's over. Just what the Wolves needed. A great reply, Mick, for the Wolves.
Yeah, they've got some good alignment in attack of Warrington. They're coming in numbers. They're all coming for the ball. They're all looking for the ball. That's giving Langer plenty of options.
And that'll do Langer's confidence the world of good. He's been trying his heart out for the Wolves this season. And like Mick just said, Langer needs options, as when he's got options, he's still up there with the top 5 scrum halves in the world without a shadow of a doubt. He might have lost a yard of pace, but he's certainly not lost anything upstairs. He's a great thinker of the game, and a great try there by Alf. That try makes the score Warrington 10, Bradford 6. And Mick was mentioning the Bulls' defence this year, but it's only Warrington who's put over 20 points for them so far this season, Mick, in the semi-final of the Cup. That's true. They really ran the Bulls ragged in that first 20 minutes of that semi-final at Headingley. Give credit to the Bulls because they did come back from that run around, and they eventually finished the stronger. So that's the thing that you always have to keep in mind with the Bulls, is that they are an 80-minute team. They certainly are an 80-minute team. Paul keeps it low this time, and it goes straight through the legs of Danny Nutley. I've seen quite a few mistakes here, mate. That was another bad mistake for the Wolves. Difficult ball, though, as I say. The wind seems to be picking up in strength. That ball was blowing all over the place. Difficult ball to judge on the bounce, and the Bulls come up with a good kick and good position. They certainly did. Roper got the conversion and failed to mention that before. It's 12-6. Paul goes across Naylor, doubles him, tries to go around Lee Penny, and he slams to the floor like a WWF wrestler. Great tackle there by Lee Penny. Mackay, he's tackled by Guisset. The Wolves need to defend for their lives here to keep the Bulls out. Here's Anderson, the big fella. He's all wrapped up though like a Christmas present. McDermott, short, tries to crash over. The Bulls normally have a set move on. Watch for James Lowe's here. Will it be the switch play? It's not. They miss Spruce out. Paul to Deakin. Gives it to Naylor. Straight through Campbell. And it's over. Straight through Campbell there. Poor attempt. It's a try. The Wolves have been weak all season down this left-hand channel. Matty Elliott's not one for not doing his own work. And both side tries have come down that channel, Mick. Another good try.
Yeah, well, that's a typical Bulls player this season. Spreading the ball and bringing Naylor, running straight and just trying to get him just outside his centre. And he's very, very strong, is Naylor. He had the option of the pass, but kept hold of the ball and went for the line himself. Very difficult man to stop once he gets that half a metre outside you. It's interesting, and that resulted from another kick from Bradford, a kick-off, but the wind assisted in the kick-off, created the confusion in Warrington's ranks, and the Bulls reaped the reward. You'd be thinking now that Darren van der Velde will be looking to Lee Breeze in the second half to use this wind.
Yeah, Warrington have got the most 40-20 so far in Super League, so they might introduce Breeze off the bench. And Bradford this time keep hold of the ball off the kick-off through David Boyle. Naylor is well met there by 3 Wolves forwards, and he's driven back. He didn't get his own way that time, but he gets a good quick play the ball. Here's Anderson. Great shot on him there by Danny Farrer. He's a tough little player, is Farrer. Here's Henry Paul, steps one, looks to offload. He stepped Busby there, but it was Farrer there, he was again. Low, short ball to Forshaw. He's been quiet so far as Mick Forshaw. His last tackle. Wolves need to be on the guard. Henry Paul using the short side. Chips over. Holds up. Spruce is there. Makes the tackle. It's a great kick chase. Henry Paul's been taken out off the ball. Did you see you hit him there, Mick?
I didn't see who hit him, but a fair shoulder charge. No elbow, no stiff arm out. It was a bit late, but he got right on the sternum, did Henry Paul, and he felt that.
But it looks like McAvoy's just come off the bench. He's all bandaged up. The clock's off by the Wolves, get the ball back on. They'll just be taking a breather. There's a couple of old heads in this Wolves team, and they said just take your time bringing that ball on. But Roper drops it out. Just short of the halfway. McDermott takes it. He's well tackled by Busby and Nickow. When McCurry comes in over the top and controls the play the ball well. Here's Anderson, the big fella, on the charge. He's lost the ball though. He's lost the ball as the big fella. It's a knock on. It looks to be a little bit of afters there to play the ball. But it's a great shot there on Anderson to stop the fella and force an error.
Yes, they're putting the bodies on the line of Warrington. They're getting to Anderson. It's something I wouldn't like to do, is get anywhere near him when he's on the rampage, but Warrington have handled him well so far.
I'm sure, Mick, in your day you'd have relished that challenge to give him a good shot. Here's Nickow. He'll just take the ball in and settle things down for the Wolves. No, he doesn't. He forces an offload, but lucky enough he's come up with the ball. Oh, that was a great shot there. Looks like the ball's come out. Yeah, it's a penalty. And Lowe slams the ball down. Surely he should take him back another 10 for descent. I don't think Ganson's seen that. Anderson there. He's ripped the ball out. He's gesturing for Guisset to run it in for the next drive. And there's certainly no love lost here, Mick.
No, and look at the influence of the wind. Don't get anywhere near the touchline with that kick. If that were Roper, it didn't even get 10 foot off the ground.
No, it didn't. And look where the ball's gone to, Leon Price. Bad mistake by the Wolves. Lowe's finds Justin Brooker. Tries to go round Langer, but to no avail. He's helped out by Ian Knott. They're queuing up the Bulls for this ball. Paul. Dummies, spins. Offloads to McDermott. He offloads to Robbie Paul. They've got the numbers of the Bulls. They found the numbers through Spruce. Stay out. Stay out there, Campbell. He does so. And a good tackle. Good experience by Nickow. He was telling his man to stay out, and he did so. McDermott takes it to the line. Campbell clings to him there. He's helped out by Alan Hunt, who's come over from the opposite wing. Forshaw bullets the pass out to Henry Paul. He's running to the line. It's Guisset got hold of him. He has. Mackey's got it. There's the big gap. There's a massive gap there. Oh, there was no slight defence there from the Wolves. They all stopped. And Robbie Paul, he could have driven his bus through there if he wanted to. Straight under the sticks. But they kept the ball alive so well there, Mick.
Absolutely quality football from the Bulls. Bad conditions for handling it so much as a strong wind, but the Bulls kept the ball alive. Henry Paul involved in that movement 3 times. Put the Henry Paul spin on, bamboozled the defence, linked up with Mackey, and the third part of the triumvirate, Robbie Paul came in and scooted under the post. Great combination, those 3 now. They're really taking some handling.
They certainly are, but you've been mentioning the wind all day, Mick, and it comes back to it. But Warrington there failed to find touch from a penalty and put themselves under pressure. All the tries the Bulls have scored, and the same in Warrington, has come from unforced errors.
Well, you could absolutely, but I mean, you can't really put that down to. Certainly got the possession from unforced errors. There's outstanding football from the Bulls all through that set, and in that last bit of play, the ball moved across the field, went through 7 or 8, maybe 9 pair of hands.
It certainly did. It was a great try. But the Wolves, they'll have this win in the second half. We're into the last 15 minutes of the first half. The score is Bradford 16, Warrington 12. The Wolves are only a score behind. And Roper kicks it deep with plenty of air. And is it going to go over McAvoy? No, it doesn't. Here he is for his first touch. He's come back on the field from the blood bin. He's well and truly met there by the Bruised brothers, G and Nutley. Oh, good shot there by Farah. It looks like he's going off here with Fielding's in there. The guys are in. They're in. It's been simmering for a while, Mick. But Farah certainly put a shot in there.
Well, I thought it looked a perfectly good shot to me. Stuart Fielding just threw the ball down and wanted to get on with the fight. He hadn't been on the field 2 minutes, Fielding. Unless something's gone on before that I haven't seen. It didn't seem too out of order from Danny Farah. Fielding has 4 or 5 shots a game like that and doesn't even blink an eyelid. Must have been perhaps too much beef at dinner time for Stuart Fielding with that.
Yeah, he might have a bit of the mad cow disease, eh? Pardon.
The beef wasn't cooked enough and just a bit too much raw meat from bitter blood. And it looks as though the Bulls are going to pick the penalty up.
Yeah, they are. Fielding's head's still on his shoulders, but looks like Nick Howe's not forgot the semi-final because he's ranting and raving at Scott Naylor. So there's certainly no love lost there. So there's plenty of arguing going on out there. I think that won't be the only blue we'll see this afternoon. Fielding takes it to the line. But he's well and truly met there. There's a little bit of a right hook there by Andrew G. The penalty's been given. And it looks like they're going to go for goal here, the Bulls.
No, they're going for the 6 points. That's just something that Warrington can't do. They can't go giving position up to the Bulls with silly penalties. And here we go. It's on now. Well, Fielding having a go. McDermott there practicing his boxing skills. And it's amazing how it all blows up. There's not been much in the game at all. And it's blown up. Bad decision, I thought, there from James Lawes to give it to Fielding once again. He's been involved in the last 2 tackles. Why bring him in again? Somebody had a shot at him and it went all over. Warrington can't afford that.
Well, they're just trying to ruffle the Bulls up, I think, the Wolves. His G put a shot in there and it all went. I think someone's going to spend a bit of time in the bin here, Mick. Otherwise, Ganson's going to lose control of this game.
Yeah, perhaps they should have had a word with Andrew G. Just at that when he gave that last penalty. He should have slowed the game down, and that was a time to talk to somebody, to let people reflect. But he didn't. He just gave the penalty. James Lawes played it quickly, and before you know it, we're on again. And we're on to round 10.
Yeah, we're all on. Ganson's reaching for the cards. There we go, Andrew G, just like I predicted. He's remonstrating with Mr. Ganson. He just wants to walk off. He doesn't want a red one. Surely someone from the Bulls will go in the bin as well. Yep. No, he's just giving him a lecture. But he's gone in the bin as well. But it's certainly got the crowd going. It's just what Super League's all about, plenty of aggression. Oh no, myself, Mick, I used to be an ex-front rower, and when you get your aggression up like that, all you want is that ball, and you want to run at the man who keeps giving you the shots. That's what's good fun about this game. And now they are going for goal, Mick. They're going to try and stretch the lead to 6 points. Henry Paul has been kicking well this afternoon. He's only missed one. There we see the wind again. It's not the ball off the tee. Here we go. Strikes it well, does Henry Paul. He's got it. He's got the extras there, the conversion. The 2 points makes the score. Bradford 18, Warrington 12. And we're certainly in for a great final 10 minutes of this half. Put your best strap yourself in, Mick. It's going to be a rough ride.
Rough ride, I get your seatbelts on. I mean, can you have better entertainment than this for the money they pay? Is there anything better in the sporting world than what we're seeing in front of us today?
There's certainly not, Mick. There's certainly not. It's fantastic. Here we go, Roper. Keeps it nice and low. It's going to Leon Price. He takes it well, the youngster. Runs straight at Alf. But Alf puts him down with the help of Guisset. Price gets a good play of the ball. Here's Justin Brooker. He's not much to do so far. He's been slammed down as Brooker. Has he lost the ball? No, he's not. Keeps hold. Bulls looking to spread it. Here's Henry Paul. He's running at Hunt. Inside ball to Naylor. Great tackle there by Dean Busby. Fantastic cover defence. Henry Paul down the short side. Tries to get a penalty, doesn't get one. A great marker tackle there by Busby. Lows to Robbie Paul. Looks to step. Spins round Nutley. He's lost the ball. It looks like it's a penalty for ripping out. Gadsden now is going a little bit whistle happy. It looks like the Bulls are going to put the pressure on. Another mistake. The Wolves just can't get the ball, Mick, at the moment.
No, the Bradford are beginning to use the ball and beginning to find a little bit of space with the Paul brothers putting steps on and just creating space in the ruck. And Warrington are just beginning to panic a little bit, I think, and giving penalties away. I mean, that must be 4 or 5 on the trot there.
Yeah, it certainly is. They need to improve the discipline if they're going to stay in the game. Wolves now, they need a big 6. Anderson on the charge. Busby and Nick out, put him down though. Makes a couple of metres, the big fella. Lowe's fires it out to Robbie Paul, to Mackay. Takes it to the line, steps past one. Tries to get the offload away. But he's locked up over the top by Lee Penny. He put a switch on Henry Paul. To Boyle, he steps 1, steps 2. He's put down though by Lee Penny and McCurry. The Wolves now hanging on for the deal. Hanging on for the lives here on the line. Lowe's for the line. He doesn't get there. 2 tackles left. Boyle fires it out to Robbie Paul, to Henry. Little chip kick through. Campbell slaps it dead. Does it? It's not gone. Yes, it has. The Wolves are under all types of pressure, Mick.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to say that it's of their own making. They've got to get some possession. They've got to get a steady 6, and they've got to get some field position now. They've had no field position for the last 15 minutes.
No, they've certainly not, but when they've been in the Bulls 20, they've come up with the goods. Danny Farrer there, down injured. The referee stopped the clock. Even though there's a blustery wind, it's still very hot out there, especially when the game's played at such a frantic pace, Mick.
Absolutely, and not just that, the emotional levels are very high too. All the players will be very warm emotionally, so we'll be looking the last 20 minutes with a few fatigued players on the field.
He certainly will. Looks like Mark Hilton's coming on for Danny Nutley. The beast is on. Let's hope he's got plenty of beast in him today. Another great stint there by Danny Nutley. He's had a great season so far for the Wolves. Here's Roper. Drops out, it holds up in the wind. Will it come back? Oh, great take there by Justin Brooker. Great take. Going to use the short side through Forshaw. Tries to get round Langer. Brushes him off. But he's put down by McCurry and Mark Hilton. Henry Paul holds it up, gives it to Naylor. Great tackle though there by Alan Hunt, right round the pins, textbook tackle. Paul to Brooker. He misses out. Anderson takes it to the line. He's met well though by Guisset. Lowe's, straight drive to Anderson. Can they wrap him up? Will he get the ball out? No, he doesn't. It's last tackle. Will he get a quick play the ball here? No, he doesn't. Lowe's little chip for the line. Looks like he's in Anderson. But surely he's offside. Surely he's offside, Anderson. No, he's been given it. Surely that was offside.
I don't know. I really didn't see where Anderson was. You'd assume that he was stood in front of Laws when Laws kicked the ball, so he would be offside. I'll take your call on that, Adam. Logic tells you they must have been offside.
Yep, logic tells you that, but I don't think logic's in Mr. Ganson's vocabulary on that one. Just what the Wolves didn't need just before half-time. Again, some crafty play there from James Lowe's acting half. He's got more tricks than Paul Daniels as that fella. A little chip through. Anderson, the big fella's crashed over for the 4-pointer. Henry Paul's added the extras, and that makes the score. Bradford 24, Warrington 12. And the Wolves now have got it all to do, Mick.
Yes. Well, if they could have just held out and say kept the Bulls to within, a good 6 points or 8 points for half-time, and certainly the wind advantage, bring breeze on and pin the Bulls back in their own quarter on a regular basis. But they've just let them get away too much, I think, here, because the Bulls have no need to rush the ball out of their own quarter when they're so far in front.
Great kick there. We've got a mistake by McAvoy. He's only just picked the ball up. The Wolves now have got a great opportunity to get themselves back in this game. McAvoy doesn't look himself since he took that bang early on, Mick.
Well, it looks. I think Nathan McAvoy's run over a black cat about a month ago, because every time he comes out on the field, he gets a knock and a bang or drops a ball. He's had a bad month.
But let's hope it carries on. Hunt, dummies, straightens up. He's well tackled though by Spruce and Scott Naylor. Langer fires it out to Busby. Looks to give it to McCully, but keeps all just about. Hilton, hard and straight. Run straight. Oh, he's put it down. Oh, an unforced error. Oh, terrible mistake.
Now there's a nooker for you. That ball travelled 15 metres, well, a good 10 yard forward, and Danny Farris saying he knocked the ball back.
For me, it shows a good bit of passion in that primrose and blue shirt, Mick. But yeah, if you don't shout, you don't get. They use the short side, and they've got the numbers on the Wolves. Great ball to Naylor. Can Campbell make the tackle on him? Yes, he can. Can he put him down, though? They're coming over the top there. Busby and Langer have brought him down. They've got the numbers, they've got a slide. Luckily, Brad Mackay's kept hold of it. They've got the numbers on the Wolves if they use the ball. They use the short side, though. Robbie Paul steps. Gets the offload away. It's fired out there by Mackay. Henry Paul inside to Forshaw. He steps, looks to offload, gets it away to Anderson. He passes and turns to Henry Paul. Paul shows, he's through. He's through. He steps. Oh, great tackle there by Busby. Henry Paul got round him, but he chased back. He's mailed the penalty, surely not, referee. He mailed the penalty. Here we go. Spruce for the corner. Tackled by Campbell and Hunt. Warrington have got to hold out. Boyle tries to go through Hilton. He's held up though with the help of Lee Penny. Lowe's inside to Anderson. He's over. He's over, it's Anderson. And the Wolves, for all their effort and enthusiasm, they've just had the ball. And when they have had it, they've made mistakes, Mick. And you can't make mistakes against this Bulls outfit.
Well, no, you certainly can't give them the ball, that's for sure. I mean, what a piece of virtuosity from the Paul brothers down here in front of us 2 minutes ago. They were turning, twisting, switching the ball backwards and forwards. The ball was travelling across the line. Looked as though they were going nowhere. And suddenly Henry Paul just scoots away, straightens up. And what a bit of fabulous tracking from Busby. He kept with Henry Paul. Henry Paul put the stop on Penny, but Busby brought him down. But it's too late then. The Bulls are going forward, and Anderson just, well, too big, too strong, and too fast.
Again, it was that little magician, though, at acting half, James Lowe's. Great little pass. Like I said, he's got more tricks than Paul Daniels, that fella. Here we go. Henry Paul for the extras. Strikes it well. He gets it. That makes the score. Bradford 30, Warrington 12. G's back on. So Stuart fielded, so G's giving a few words of advice there to Hilton, trying to pick him up after that mistake. Could have all been so different if Hilton had have kept hold of that ball. And Warrington might have had a couple of more tackles on the Bulls line, but not to worry. There's plenty left in this game so far. The ball bounces awkwardly. Ball takes it, runs straight at Alan Hunt. He's brought down though. Henry Paul acting half. Fires the ball out to Spruce. He's tackled by McCurry and Hilton with the help of Busby. McAvoy comes in for the skew. Will they put the shot on him? He gets straight round G. Looked like G might have been penalised for flopping there, but good play there by GG. Anderson, a great offload. Oh, Fielden just keeps hold. Good tackle there by Langer. Lowe scoots from acting half, fires it out to Henry Paul. Little chip kick through. Chased by Nail. It's got too much weight on it though, and it finds touch. So the Wolves, they finally get an opportunity with the ball, but it's 10 metres from their own line, Mick. Great set of six there by the Bulls.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of variety, a lot of combinations, and there we saw Anderson just using his brains. They set those things up so well. The Bulls are so well organised. Brought Anderson, look as though he's coming on a crash ball, and just offloaded to Fielden. Fielden had a load of space. One more pass and Mackay had been away.
Certainly would have done. They don't run in singles, they run in pairs to the Bulls, giving themselves plenty of options. Lee Penny is for the Wolves, 10 metres from his own try line, centre field. Guisset. Roper, he switched sides as John Roper. It looks like he's come onto the wing actually, Roper. And they've moved Hunte to the centre. Hilton. It's well met there by Fielden. Langer fires it out to Nichow. He's looking for runners. Finds Busby. Puts it down. Another mistake by the Wolves. McAvoy takes it. He's tackled by Hunt. Bad mistake there by Busby. Oh, there's another mistake. Hilton takes it. Can he get the ball away? He just decides to keep on. Forces the offload. Roper picks up. Oh, he looks to have been tackled round the top, but that was the last play of the half. The Wolves have certainly shown plenty of effort and enthusiasm in that half, but a little bit too much ill discipline, and Bradford have made them pay, Mick.
Certainly have. Once Bradford got any bit of position and possession, they started running away. In that last 10 minutes, it's really been all the Bulls, and the Wolves have been shipping water.
Yeah, it certainly reflects in the scoreline. At half-time at Wilderspool, it's round 12 of Super League. It's Bradford 30, Warrington 12. Well, we're back on here for the start of the second half. Bradford had kicked off and knocked it back. It's the third tackle coming up. Naylor gets round Hunt. Campbell makes the tackle though. Henry Paul to Forshaw. Straightens up, tries to go through Nichow but can't do so. It's last tackle. Lowe's uses the short side, a great little kick. Campbell kicks it dead, and the Wolves are under pressure again. No change from the first half. The Bulls with all the possession. The Wolves can't get the ball. But we've got the win this half. We need a big drop out from Roper. Gets to halfway. Bounces awkwardly there for Fielding, but he takes it well. Here he goes. Great shot there by Busby on Fielding. There's the Bulls with a second set of 6. Successive set of 6 this half. McAvoy brought down by Hilton. 30 metres out. Anderson takes it to the line. Runs straight over the top of Andrew G. Great run there by Anderson. But good cover tackle by Hilton and Farah. Robbie Paul to the line, finds Mackay. He's brought down by Langer, gets the ball away. He steps Guisset. Gets the ball away with an offload, Robbie Paul, but Price kicks it into touch. And it's Warrington now with a set of 6. Fires it out to Danny Farah, does Langer for a quick tap. Ganson won't give him it though. Busby, brought down by Boyle. Nick out to Hilton. Tries to go over the top of Forshaw, but can't do so. They're up quick at Bradford. And G makes a metre at most there. The line was up very fast on him, but Nick out now. Fires a great ball out to Alan Hunt. He's brought down by James Lowes though. The ball's been ripped out, and that's an excellent advert for the game there, mate. Crossfields under 15s. They're going round with a trophy they just won from the local league. And the away fans are giving them a great round of applause. That's fantastic to see, Mick.
Yeah, good. Oh, great supporters, the Bulls. Real family. There's loads of families in that stand. Fabulous supporters, and appreciate all rugby.
That's just what this game needs. Excellent to see. It's what makes the game of rugby league unique. Farah to Langer, the Wolves now. They're on the charge. Great ball to Nick out. Bangs it out to Busby. He's put it down though. There was a 4-pointer gone begging. And now it's Naylor on the charge. Fires the ball out to McAvoy. There was no need for that. But when the score's 30 points to 12, you might as well do a little bit of showboating, Mick.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was a fingertip away from McAvoy having a clear run-in. So you take your chance at that, as you say. You have an 18-point cushion. 18 points is not that much in this game. The Bulls need a couple more tries, I think, really, to seal the game.
Well, I hope they don't get that, and I hope it's just all Warrington tries. Hunt looks to be relishing the job there in centre. He's been involved more in the action this half. Farah fires it out to Guisset. Goes straight over the top of Forshaw, but he's brought down by Anderson. In fact, Forshaw's just clinged onto his ankles like a little Rottweiler. Great ball there by Langer to Nick Howe. Nick Howe tries to go through ball. Can't do so. Great scrambling defence by the Bulls. The Wolves now asking questions of the Bulls defence. Short ball. There, I can't quite see who it's to. Before it was to Guisset. He's held up. It was to Busby. Langer takes it to the line. Chip kick. Offside. Offside there. Anderson. He heard the whistle. That would have been some entertainment seeing Anderson run the full length, would it, Mick?
Well, I think he would happy here to hear the whistle or Anderson then. He had a lot of grass in front of him, but he looked as though he fancied it.
He certainly did fancy it. He can motor the big fella. McCully for the line. Brought down by Anderson. Good tackle by the big fella. Is there a gap there? Looks to be all be offside. Great inside ball. Great tackle though by Lowes on Busby. The Wolves asking all types of questions of the Bulls defence. Langer takes it to the line, finds G. Can't get an offload away. He's still going. G gets the ball to Guisset for the line. Oh, great covered defence there again by the Bulls. It's Wolves now with all the possession. Farah for the line. Oh, he's held up. He's into the corner, Roper. John Roper's into the corner. It's try time for the Wolves. Could this be the greatest comeback since Lazarus? Great try by Roper into the corner. And Danny Farah shows he's still got all that vision. For a 30 plus something I should say. I'm doing him an injustice. But the Wolves there had all the possession on the Bulls. And on the Bulls line, and they've got over, Mick. Good try.
Yeah, well, every time the Wolves have been in the Bradford's red zone, they've looked good. Langer's been directing play well. Nick Howe's been taking the ball to the line well. You know, great improvisation there from Farah. Fancy to go himself. Just got tackled short and threw a speculator out. And was it the winger that picked it up? Roper picked it up and went in at the corner. And that's 6 points, and that's the game back on.
Certainly is game on if he can kick the extras here. It's a 12-point gap, and then Fletcher Street the Fletcher Street end there of the Wilderspool ground is certainly getting behind him. It looks like the Wolves might have played a trump card by bringing Breeze on, Mick.
Well, I don't know what McDermott's doing standing in the middle of the field. You just can't do that. You have to clear the field. Anderson going to the bench. And McDermott just can't. You don't have the option of standing in the field, I'm afraid. The referee would be quite right to allow this kick to be taken twice.
Yeah, I don't think there's much in that though, Mick. Roper strikes it well. Has he got it? Yes, he has! Yes, he has! Great kick there by John Roper. And it's game on. Breeze is on the pitch. I can't quite see who he's come on for, Lee Breeze. But it's going to be an entertainment pack last 35 minutes here at Wilderspool. Roper's kick makes the score. Bradford 30, Warrington 18. Just what the doctor ordered. Langer, Nichow takes it. Oh, what's the referee blown up for here, mate? Can you see?
Yeah, we're obstruction off the ball. Somebody took fielding out quite deliberately. Long before the ball had landed. So a good call from Mr. Ganson. But just on that previous play, that previous 6 points, that all came, of course, from Naylor throwing that speculator to McAvoy. So Warrington doing well, making Bulls pay for an unforced error.
Yeah, most of the tries this afternoon have come from mistakes where the opposition's been able to exert pressure on the defence, and there we see another mistake by Warrington, ill discipline, and Henry Paul's got an opportunity to stretch the Bulls' lead to 14 points.
Now Henry Paul going for his 5th. Strikes it, looks good against the wind. That's an excellent kick. Puts the ball out to 32. And Adam goes for his coat. I don't know why. Bright sunshine. And here in Warrington, it's a spring day.
You keep telling me how windy it is, Mick, and when you're on this gantry, the wind's whistling through me. But it's certainly game on. Even though the Bulls have just added those extras to make it 32-18, I don't think the Wolves are going to give up the hunt just yet. Breeze taking over the kicking duties from Roper. Keeps it nice and low. It's a horrible bounce, but Boyle takes it well in the end. Nichow misses with a tackle, but Alan Hunt certainly doesn't. McAvoy goes for a scoot. It's well tackled by McCurry. He's having an industrious-like game with Steve McCurry out there for the Wolves today. McDermott back on. Well tackled there by Nichow. Lowe's using the short side through David Boyle. He's tackled there by Alan Hunt. Fielding takes it to over the 40-metre line for the Bulls. Gets a fantastic play the ball to James Lowe's. He keeps it nice and low, but Lee Penny takes it well. Campbell's looped round to support him. Penny not known for his passing, and again he doesn't pass, he keeps hold. Good safety first option there by Penny. Langer takes it to the line, finds Knott. Knott's well tackled though by Robbie Paul with the help of Forshaw. Roper runs it hard and straight there. But a good tackle there. Is it by Hudson Smith? Yes, it is. Smith's on now. Wolves up for a 40-20. Looks like they might get it. They will get it. Fantastic kick. What did I say just before in the first half, Mick? They'll bring Breers on. We've got the highest 40-20s in Super League against Warrington through Lee Breers. And it's just played a trump card there.
Absolutely, and too strong, too quick for it. Spruce knew what was coming. He had it figured out, positioned himself, but the wind carried the ball just too quickly away from Spruce, and the Bulls back on their own line.
Yeah, the Wolves now, great opportunity. Langer to Breers. Face ball to Knott. Knott tries to go around Henry Paul, but can't do so. Can he get a quick play the ball? No, he can't. Breers to Guisset. It's well tackled though by Forshaw. Can he get the offload away? No, he can't. He's driven back to the 10-metre line. Barrett to Breers. Short ball to Hilton. Hilton tries to hit and spin on Brian McDermott, but can't do so. Fired for the line. Fires it out to Knott. Will he make it? Oh, he's held up a metre short. Farrer to Langer. Holds it up. Fires it out to Breers. Breers though. Slammed to the floor there by Fielding. Here comes Langer. Great ball to Knott. He's over. He's over here, Knott. What a ball there by Alan Langer. Oh, what a fantastic pass, mate. Like I said the first half again, the fella's still got it there upstairs. He just needs the options.
Oh, he's got everything, Alan Langer. I mean, he's an outstanding player. I mean, you said he was one of the best 5 scrum halves in the world. Well, I dispute that. I say he's one of the best 5 players in the world.
He's like an expert safe breaker, is Alan Langer. But again, the Wolves have come up with over 20 points against the Bulls. The only side so far to do that this season. They just need to get their defence in order now this second half. We might have an upset on the cards.
Certainly. Don't write the Bulls off though. I mean, great stuff from Warrington. They've had good position. They've got the ball down here. And Roper strikes that. That's good enough. That's for 2 points. So, as I said, the game's on. But the Bulls will not give the game up.
No, they certainly won't. But that's just what Warrington needed at the start of this second half. The Wilderspool faithful is right behind the boys now. The Bulls have made a change. Peacock's on for David Boyle. And it's game on. The score's 32-24. The short kick-off again by Henry Paul. Oh, it's been slapped down. Who's going to get it? Robbie Paul's got it. It's in open space. He's gone round Farrer. He's gone round. Oh, there's a few swinging arms in there. He's certainly giving some treatment there, Robbie Paul. But the Bulls now, they're on the attack. Come on, Warrington, you've got to keep him out. Can they do it? Lowe's inside to Peacock for his first touch. He bounces Nickow off. Nickow goes back though for a second chance. And it brings him down that time. Lowe's for the line. No, he fires it out to Hudson Smith, the big fella from formerly of Salford Reds. He gets it to Forshaw. Forshaw basketball style out to Stuart Spruce. He's brought down by Alan Hunt. Surely that's not to play the ball. Paul to the line to Lowe's. Oh, he ducks under one. The ball's down. And Warrington come out in possession. It's frantic out there, Mick, and it's certainly exciting.
Absolutely. The Bulls putting everything in there. Great improvisation from the Bulls. You know, the Paul brothers and Mackie and Lowe's can improvise in any situation and keep the ball alive. And they really stretch Warrington then, eventually putting the ball down. Warrington now have got to bring the ball away. And I think we'll see Breers again. Eye contact from McDermott. Well, that's silly from Nickow. That's silly from Nickow. And McDermott not happy with that. And it's all on again. And nearly took his chance to get revenge on Nickow then. Somebody might get sent off here. I think Brian McDermott could end up with a red card.
Oh no, let's hope they keep it. 13 against 13. But they certainly stood toe to toe. McDermott came in, there was nothing on, and then all of a sudden the Beast and Brian McDermott stood toe to toe. And McDermott, ex-Army boxing champion, and the Beast, a wrestling champion. That was a great sight to behold, those two standing toe to toe, and it certainly got the crowd going. Great excitement.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. I mean, all that's to the entertainment, all that's to the entertainment value, spectacle. But I think Nickow was at fault there. No real serious damage from McDermott. Was eye contact, that's all. It wasn't a stiff arm. And who's getting a red card? Oh, well, I told you that. Brian just had a couple of shots at... turned around, had a couple of shots at Nickow. Wasn't happy with the push in the back. Pushing people in the back is very dangerous. And it's suffered the consequence.
He has. The Bulls players are coming in for a little bit of afters on Mr. Hansen. But Brian McDermott's gone off. Warrington have also boxed clever there. They took Hilton off there while Hansen's not looking. And they brought Danny Nutley on. The incident's gone on report. But this will certainly test Bradford's medal. Can they perform with 12 men? Breers, fantastic kick. Takes play to the Bulls half. Oh, I'm lost for words and certainly exciting. McCuddy, hard and true. Goes off Robbie Paul, but Paul sticks to his guns. G now keeps on. He's tackled by Robbie Paul. This is fantastic. Great for the game of rugby league. Guisset down the short side. Straight through Robbie Paul. Spruce is in late there with a shot. Langer to the line. Bangs it out to Breers. To Nick out. Inside to Penny. Oh, fantastic cover tackle there by Henry Paul. Langer now is calling all the shots. Inside to Nutley. Last tackle. What will Alfie do? What can the little fella do? Here he goes. To the line. He's there. He's there. Alan Langer's there. What a fantastic try. What a try. I'm losing my voice, mate. You'll have to take over.
You have a breather, Adam. Fabulous football from Alfie Langer. Directing traffic left, directing it right. Once again, carrying the ball to the line. The line retreating in front of him. This is the best defence in Super League by a long chalk, and Alfie Langer is dismantling it.
This is fantastic excitement. I might have to tie an industrial rope to my waist here so I don't fall off this gantry. Great excitement. That makes the score 32-30 to Bradford Bulls. The Wolves now, they've got to get possession from this kick-off, Mick. They keep spewing it from the restart. They've got to keep possession here.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll go for it as well. They'll go for the ball. Henry Paul will put a short one in, use the wind, and they'll have jumpers.
Certainly will have jumpers, but here we go. Both the short kick-off. No, he elects to go deep. Holds up in the wing. Roper takes it well. Straight through Robbie Paul, like he was a paper bag. G makes the hard yards. It's well tackled though by two Bulls defenders. Nicow now. We've not seen much of him running this afternoon. And what a fantastic tackle there by Peacock. He's great shot on Nicow and he's forced the ball out. Now it's Warrington's turn to be on the back foot. Spruce ducking and weaving. Put down though by an ex-Witness teammate, Steve McCurry. Oh, he's all on again. It looks like someone else might be going to the bin. Spruce threw the first punch, and no, they didn't ask for him to stop. He put him in as well. They're raining the blows in out. They're raining the punches in out there. And again, I'm losing my voice, mate. Great excitement here.
Yeah, well, give Spruce his due credit. He kept hold of the ball like it was a little baby. He protected that ball, did Spruce, while he was swinging his punches. And Mr. Ganson going to have to do some sorting out now, I think. I feel sorry for McDermott. I feel McDermott is a casualty of Ganson's inaction early on in the game, really.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. I think Danny Nutley might go here. I think he might go. They'll try and even it up. Either that or he's just going to have a word. Or he might sim him Spruce. We don't know what he'll do. Incidents on report. He's took the easy option there, but he's given the Bulls the penalty. Well, there you go. It's looking me and you and a referee, Mick. Neither of us called that right.
No. Well, he was a long way off there. We couldn't see what went on the blind side. Obviously, the linesman's informed Mr. Ganson, and he's ruled a penalty against. I thought Spruce was lucky to stop on the field, though. I thought he at least had a yellow card. And that's great stuff from Warrington. Look at that. Yo! Talk about meat shop.
They need this to Warrington. They've got the bit between the teeth. They're all offside. Here's Smith. He's slammed down. This is absolutely fantastic here. This is what the Wilderspool's been waiting for all Super League 5. And this is what they're getting. Paul now to the line. Instant spins on Guisset, but to no avail. Noon's on there for Warrington. I don't know who Noon's come on for. Lowe's takes it to the short side. Scott Naylor tries to go through Lee Breeze but can't do so. Great tackle there by the halfback. Lowe's steps to Jinks, looks to offload, slammed down, and run away. Nutley's away. Oh, fantastic excitement here. Campbell now, the youngster, settles things down for the Wolves. Breeze and acting half. They're all offside at Bradford. Langer to Nicow. Good tackle there by Henry Paul. Guisset, short side, Step Smith. Mick Forshaw, he's getting through a mountain away for the Bulls on defence. Breers, 40-20, here we go. No, it stays in field. Justin Brooker now, straightens up. Looks to go round G. Can't do so though, the big fella puts him down. And Nolly comes in and slams him in the kidneys. Robbie Paul to McAvoy. Steps Nolly as if he wasn't there. Looks to offload, can't get it away. Brooker and Acton half. Scoots. He's had some tries this year against Warrington as Justin Brooker. Short ball there to Peacock. Free Paul Noon. He's brought down. Low, short ball to Forshaw, no. Keeps hold, last tackle. Bradford have got the numbers on Warrington on this left-hand side. Here we go, Henry Paul. Oh, put down there. Great option by Henry Paul.
Yeah, fabulous pass, nice little backflip. Just couldn't handle it to Hudson Smith. It'd have been 4 points if he had it done.
Certainly would have been, but it's now Warrington with the ball. Nick Howe. Great ball to Hunt. Takes the shot after he's passed. Warrington has certainly got a bit between the teeth. Langer to the line. Inside to Danny Farrer. He takes it to the 40-metre line. 10 metres from the Bulls' half. Nick Howe on the short side. Great ball there by Nick Howe to Noon, but a fantastic tackle. Here's Langer down the short side. He needs support. Nick Howe's there. He needs more support. Breeze is there. Breeze is away. Last tackle. Bradford is shot to pieces on the left-hand side. Here goes Langer. Langer for the line. McAvoy. He's in there. He's tackled. He was tackled. And again it's that man. Again it's that man, Alan Langer, mate.
Absolutely. The Alfie Langer show. I mean, the Warrington people, I haven't seen all Warrington's games, but this has to be the best game Alfie Langer's played, and against the best defence in the league. I mean, they're really putting the sword to the Bulls. Langer's carrying the ball to the line. Beginning to look fatigued though, is Alfie.
He certainly is. And here comes Brad Mackay. Oh, what a fantastic drop out by Henry Paul. Bad mistake there again by Warrington. You've got to be getting another deal from that, and Bradford now got the opportunity to take the foot off, to relax a little bit, play a good set of six out, and keep Warrington in their own half.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be relaxing much. The anxiety levels will be high. Only 2 points in it. Breers is on the field, so he can kick goals from anywhere, especially with this wind. And as we've been talking, the wind's been picking up. Just a couple of minutes ago, it was really, really strong. So the wind's not going to drop this afternoon. It's going to be a factor all through the game.
Henry Paul there, shown the ball about 3 or 4 times, decided to keep hold, but Breeze stuck to his man like glue. Third tackle now. Mackay, tackled by Breeze. That's a treble for Lee Breeze. You won't see that very often, and that's a quadruple, but we get an offload away. Lowe's forces it out to Paul. Surely that was forward. Oh, referee! I can't believe it. Lowe's, short side to Henry Paul. Inside to Hudson Smith. Inside to Robbie Paul. Paul to Lowe's. Lowe's is brought down. The Wolves are scrambling. His last tackle. Robbie Paul to Mackay. Oh, forward. Langer puts his body on the line. Oh, what a fantastic tackle. Not only is he doing it with the ball, Alan Langer, but he came in there and it was a try-saving tackle, Mick.
Yeah, it was. I mean, fabulous improvisation from the Bulls. Great hands, great vision, people keeping the ball alive, people offering themselves for options. Warrington defence was absolutely scattered. Langer kept alive and killed the ball.
So they did. Dave Hunte now on for the Wolves. He's just took a high shot off James Lowe's. Welcome to Super League football, Dave. It's like an amphitheatre out there, back in the Roman times. G, offloads to Noon. Noon slammed to the floor though by Henry Paul. Highton, he's on for Danny Farrer. He's got no runners. Nickow now in an acting half. Show ball to Langer. Langer needs runners. He finds Lee Penny. He puts the step on. Smith covers him. No. It's last tackle. Langer to the short side. Gives it to Breers. To Hunt. Ball and no tackle there though. Maybe a little chip to the corner might have been a better option, Mick.
Well, they've got the extra man, and just in this last 5 or 10 minutes, Alfie Langer's beginning to find some space in the ruck. The Bulls are just missing that man in the ruck. It's a very well organised defence. When you take the man out, it just disorganises them a little, and they're not as tight around the ruck area. And Alfie's finding that space, and he's making good use of it.
He certainly is. Great play the ball there. Naylor, nearly through. New clinged on for dear life then. Spruce, brought down. I can't quite see it by David Highton. Robbie Paul, he's going to put a step on the little fella. Oh, surely that's obstruction. Nothing's been given. Forshaw, offloads to Rose. Henry Paul, round Hunt. Oh, the Wolves are scrambling for their dear lives. There's a gap under the sticks. Robbie Paul is in. No, he's not. What a fantastic tackle. I thought he was in, Mick. I thought he was in. But look who it is. Alan Langer. What a great tackle. Roper. John Roper. 20-metre run there by Roper. Fantastic work there. Not. Brought down by Robbie Paul. It's the scrum half show. Robbie on one side and Alfie on the other. It's fantastic to see. Highton, again it's John Roper. His confidence is up, is Roper. Langer, steps. Great ball by Langer. Lee Penny. Oh my God, oh my God. What a try, what a try. I've lost my voice. I've lost my voice. Oh, what a fantastic try.
Yeah. Again, Adam Langer taking the ball. First man off the ruck, having a bit of space in front of him, showing the ball, taking it to the line and holding it. An absolutely outstanding pass to Penny, and Penny had support. That was a crucial thing. I don't think Penny would have beaten Spruce, but he had support. Spruce had to hang off. He had to hang off him while his defence came with him. Then Penny put a step on him, and that's 6 points.
Certainly is. They say Lee Penny doesn't pass. He doesn't need to pass there, Mick. He was stepping and sliding. Fantastic play. But not about that pass from Alan Langer. Oh, I said it was a safe cracker first half. This guy could get his way out of Alcatraz. Superb play by Alan Langer. Roper, there we go. 4-point lead for the Wolves. 36-32. Oh, excitement time. I need beta blockers. I need to keep my heart rate down. Gee whiz, this is superb, Mick. Great entertainment. And I think there's a lot more to go in this game, yeah, Mick.
Certainly is. Have you got, did you check a time? Did you check time when we kicked off? 5 or 6 minutes have we got?
Yeah, maybe about 10 minutes. But it's game on. This is fantastic. Fantastic advert for Rugby League. Paul, short kick-off. Oh, it's gone forward. Spruce. Nickow brings him down. 20 metres out. Robbie Paul finds it out to Henry. Henry to Naylor. Green. Oh! Oh! Scott Naylor. Scott Naylor's just passed to the invisible man. He's passed to the invisible man there, Mick. You said that McAvoy's been hit by a black cat, ran over the black cat. Gee whiz, I think he's run over about 6 or 7 of him.
Yeah, just one of those things, McAvoy and Naylor not connecting there. I think McAvoy just put a step on and started to come inside. Naylor put the pass on the outside, went into touch, led off then for, that was a straightforward scoring chance for the Bulls.
Yeah, it was a let-off. Here not. Brought down by Fielding. Guisset down the short side. Tackled by Mackay. Hunte using the short side well. He's brought down by Price and Brooker. GG makes a good 5 metres, his last tackle. Can we get a 40-20? Oh no, he's caught in possession. Oh, fantastic defence. Terrible mistake by Warrington. Fantastic work by the Bulls.
That's outstanding effort from the Rolls, from James Laws and Hudson Smith at this stage of the game to cut Breers down on the last tackle like that.
Certainly is. Now, Warrington are under the cosh. Lowe's in an acting half. Scoots. Robbie Paul. Paul to the line. Into touch. Fantastic pass by Robbie Paul. Straight into touch. Well, I said in the first half, to beat the Bulls, you need all the luck in the world. You need to take your chances. And at the moment, we've took our chances, we've got a bit of luck. Do you think Warrington can hold out?
I'm sure they can. I mean, you see the difference there between leading and trailing by a couple of points or 4 points. Anxiety levels are high for the Bulls, and they're pushing the ball now, and that's forcing the error. The Warrington are not particularly forcing the error. It's the Bulls have got to get the ball across and get the ball out. But what you said, what you need is luck to beat the Bulls. You also need Alfie Langer on fire.
Oh, the guy's on fire. Call the fire brigade. This guy's having a legend of a game. Hunt! Oh! Hunt again! He's brought down. Hunte to Lee Penny. He's brought on there by Anderson. He could be a trump card when people are tired, Paul Anderson. Surely they're offside. Nothing's been given by Canton. Keep him onside. They're all offside. 40-20. No, it's not. But surely they're encroaching the 10 there, Mick.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Mr. Ganson on several occasions has completely abrogated his responsibility as far as the 10's concerned. Particularly when the Bulls were up in tight up on Warrington line early on in the second half. What he's doing is standing at the ruck and not rolling on the 10 at all.
Yeah, he's not. Robbie Paul to Henry. Keeps on, he gets round Alan Hunt. Won't get round Lee Breers though. Great tackle. McAvoy. Tackled again by Breers with the help of Nutley and Noon. Knock on! Knock on there by McAvoy. Gee whiz, that black cat. Must have been some black cat. McAvoy's having a shocker. Warrington now need a big set of 6. Robbie Paul's gone to get the ball for Alan Langer. Must be those old legs of Alf. Might have not been able to get over there, Mick.
Robbie Paul thinks it's a scrum to Bradford. Let's give it over to Alfie Langer now.
Langer feeds. Finds Lee Penny. Penny takes it to centre field, 40 metres out. Is there another score left in this game for Warrington Wolves? Nutley, 35 metres out now. Nickow, 20 metres out. Great play the ball. Hunte down the middle. To G, to Nickow. Nickow for the line. 5 metres out. GG and acting half. To Langer. Oh. He's brought down there, is Langer. Last tackle. Hunte to Breers. To Guisset. Last tackle. Wolves keep hold of it though. Langer arguing with McCurry.
They've got to work hard here now. Keep him here. Robbie Paul takes it to the line. He's brought down though. 20 metres from his own try line. Mackay to Peacock. Peacock's brought down by Danny Nutley. McAvoy to Robbie Paul. To Henry Paul. Oh, it's been put down. Lee Penny takes it. Warrington back in possession. Hunt now. Here clear the lines. Henry Paul's offside. Warrington now need a big 6. Here we go. Langer takes it to the line. Langer. Great ball to Knott. Oh, unlucky there. Roper now. Finds Alan Langer. To Breers. To Nickow. To Campbell. Oh. 10 metres from the Bulls line. Nickow to Gigi. Keeps hold. No. He finds Highton. To Guisset. Puts the step on Lowe's. 5 metres now from the Wolves, from the Bradford line. Breers to McConaughey. Yes! Yes! Oh! Yes! Here we go! Tom Hark's on fire. Lee Breers. He's been a trunk card since he's come on, Mick.
Well, he has. I mean, Breers is a good footballer. And he just served that ball well to McKinney. But again, that comes down to Alfie Langer setting the break up down here and getting Wolves down onto that line and moving the ball across the line, giving, stretching that Bulls defence.
I think if Warrington win this today, it'll be the greatest game seen at Wilderspool since we beat the Aussies in the late 70s. That's how much this means to the Warrington faithful. We needed this win. Have we got it? Look at that Fletcher end there. The Bradford fans now, they're trying to get behind their team. Like you said, Mick, it's an 80-minute game and Bradford won't stop coming.
I think that's game over now with an 8-point lead with only a couple of minutes to go. There can't be more than a couple of minutes to go, Adam. That's got to be the game. Bradford can't come back and score twice, not in that short space of time, as good as they are.
Mick, you've not much watched of Warrington this year. Anything can happen. That's a 10-point lead. It's 42-32. Bradford today have had over 50% more scored against him than they've led in all season, Mick. So, fantastic tribute to Warrington.
Absolutely. It's only the second time as well that Bradford haven't scored a try in the second half.
Well, that would be some feat. People have been saying Warrington aren't fit. Darryl said it's down to attitude. Well, that just could be the case. Can Nickow take this? Yes, he has. Yes, he has. He's had some practice though this second half. Roper. Alan Langer just been given the man of the match. Gigi makes the hard yards. I think even if there wasn't some incidents on report, Mick, Greg McCallum will be watching the full 80 minutes of this tomorrow, just for pure entertainment.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's nothing better, is there? There's nothing better than rugby league, and this is the best in rugby league for me. A game like this.
Yes, yes, there you go, there you go. Warrington have won. Look at the crowd. They've gone absolutely ballistic. Absolutely ballistic. Oh, fantastic. That's been a superb afternoon's entertainment. And like you said, there's nothing better than in the world of sport than watching a game like that. Half time, Warrington were down by 18 points. It was 30 points to 12. I said it was the greatest comeback since Lazarus. Well, could that be put in biblical terms, Mick?
Not really. I think you've got to put it down to the fact that the Bulls just made a couple of unforced errors early on that let Warrington back into the game. Warrington utilised the conditions. They got in the first half. Warrington looked extremely competent in the Bulls' red zone, and they had more time in the Bulls' red zone in this second half due to the conditions. And then Alfie Langer with the sending off of McDermott, that just created space in the middle of the field, which Alfie Langer used to the full extent.
Oh, Langer in the second half, he was on fire. He was on fire, he was fantastic. You know, but the Bulls will look to the sending off of McDermott as a key turning point. But for Warrington to keep Bradford scoreless in the second half is fantastic, especially with the Wolves' defensive record.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Bradford's the best attacking record, the best defensive record, and you know, and full credit to the Wolves. At half-time, your mate said to me, he says, it's going to be a run-over. I said, no, not with the conditions as they are. In the second half, the Wolves have got to go back into the game with the wind at the back of them, and they have done so. And if you're Alfie Langer, you'd take the tape of this game and put it up on your wall and keep it for your grandchildren.
Oh, you especially would do, you really would. But sport's all about twists and turns, and it's been a bumpy ride for Warrington Wolves. Yeah, they've come back and they've shown a great attitude there. The start of at half-time, Darryl van der Velde must have thought, how can I lift these lads under all types of pressure? And what a fantastic response the lads have given. Now they've got London, they've got to stay consistent. They can't just be a one-game season. They've got to stay consistent and try and make that top 5, Mick.
Yeah, well, your season's back on track now. You've beaten Bradford, an unbeaten side, but not been for a long time. So everything to look forward to. You have a summer to look forward to. The good weather coming. You know, Alfie Langer, if he's hit this form and keeps this form, who's going to beat Warrington?
Well, that's a good enough question. There's people kissing and hugging themselves out there. The last few weeks they've been abusing these people. They're kissing and hugging themselves. I've lost my voice. Fantastic afternoon's entertainment. And a great win for Warrington Wolves, 42-32. And there we go. Bring on London Broncos.